to New York. The program originally scheduled for this afternoon will not be seen. Stay tuned for NBA on CBS, next on Channel 2.
18 times in the last 20 years, the Boston Celtics have battled for the Eastern Conference title in the NBA. Here's Paul Silas Thursday night. He scored 21 against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jimmy Brewer today must pick up some of the scoring load for the Cavs. He hit only 1 of 5. The other wingman for Bill Fitch, Bingo Smith, also had an off night in that opening game. He was held to 1 of 10 from the field. And so we are back in the Boston Garden, and a very good afternoon to everybody. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final, the Celtics filing out onto the court. They have taken a one-game edge over the surprising Cleveland Cavaliers. And, of course, a very happy Mother's Day on this special Sunday afternoon. I'm Brent Musburger, and what this means, I guess, is all you fathers out there will have to get your own sandwiches and beer today. And don't forget, when you take Mom out to dinner tonight, to wait until after our second game here on CBS, because following this showdown between Boston and Cleveland, we will be going out to Phoenix for that contest between the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. And, of course, the story all year long has been the surprising success of the Cleveland Cavaliers. They battle their way into the Eastern Conference Final. They eliminate the Washington Bullets, and then suddenly they are without Jim Chones. In a practice session prior to the first game here in the Boston Garden, Chones went up for a rebound. He came down, and his right foot was bent over sideways as he struck his teammate, Campy Russell. That foot is in a cast. Jim Chones will be wearing that cast for 10 to 11 weeks. There is no chance that Jim Chones will play at all in this series or against the survivor of Phoenix Golden State if the Cavaliers upset the Boston Celtics. Upset is what it would have to be now that the Cavaliers must play without Jim Chones. What will they do today? The man who has the answers to those questions, the coach Bill Fitch, he is standing by with Mindy Rudolph. Right after this break, we will go to Mindy and Bill Fitch as the NBA Today continues on CBS.
It's me, George Burns. For a guy who used to smoke cigars, even in the shower, I never thought I'd get real smoking satisfaction from a pipe tobacco. But this Sir Walter Raleigh is terrific. Made from all burley tobacco. Mellow, rich. Really a quality smoke. Terrific. And the pouch matches my shower curtains.
The quality pipe tobaccos of America.
And it took my administration to get things moving ahead in this session.
That may be, Congressman. However, it took my party to bring a sound fiscal policy to this state.
Gentlemen, please. All I know is it took Schlitz to bring the taste to life.
Introducing Schlitz Light Beer. Less filling and 1/3 fewer calories than our regular beer, but all the taste you'd expect from Schlitz.
It took Schlitz to bring the taste to life.
Gentlemen, it takes a good head for politics.
And back here in the Boston Garden, Sonny Hill has moved courtside. And Sonny, I think before we go down to Bill and Mindy, we should talk a little bit more about that first game contest here in the Garden.
The first game was a spurting type of a ball game for the Boston Celtics. They came out early, and they really took it to the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers made a strong comeback in the third quarter when they're outside shooting, and that's the strong point of the Cavaliers, when they tied the ball game up. But in the start of the fourth quarter, the Celtics spurted again and more or less turned it on when they had to in that particular ball game.
We have some highlights of that first game. We'll take a look at them, and I think, Sonny, the key point to remember is that when you come back from 17 points, you use up an awful lot of energy. You haven't got much left.
Well, that's what the players said in the dressing room, that when you do come back, as they did in that ball game, it takes a lot out of you. Strong rebounding and the Celtic fast break was the thing that got the Celtics off to a quick start in the ball game Thursday. Nelson brings the ball down the floor. Now notice how the Celtics will swing the basketball. There's Havlicek, and he got off to a great start in that ball game. In fact, he was putting the ball in the basket from all angles. JoJo White, again on the fast break. Now notice the way JoJo will come down, slide to the basket, and then sort of slither to the basket with sort of a patented JoJo White move that has become sort of identifiable with him. And again, the Celtics swing the basketball. Silas has it. Here's Havlicek with a backdoor situation. And that's another keynote of the Celtics basketball, when they can find the open man and move well without the ball. When the Cavaliers made a strong comeback in the third quarter, it was Dick Snyder, one of the outstanding premier perimeter shooters in the game of basketball. And here's the rebound. Nate Thurman did a good job in that ball game, closing off the middle. He kicks the ball out to Snyder. Snyder to Jones, the lead guard of the Cavaliers. And the Cavaliers swing the basketball, look at themselves, and they go in for a very easy basket. And that was in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, the Celtics came back and made a run again, sort of turned it on when they had to. And the thing they do best is get the ball down the floor, find the open man, and if that open man happens to be Don Nelson, he can put it in the basket. And again, the Celtics on the move. This is a great individual move by Paul Silas, who had a super basketball game, not just rebounding, but scoring 21 points in that particular basketball game.
Tony, you stay right here because I want to talk to you about the Boston Celtics before we start this game. But right now, let's go down to Mindy Rudolph with Cleveland coach Bill Fitch. Mindy?
Bill, of course, with Jim Jones out now, an awful lot of responsibility falls on the shoulders of Nate Thurman.
That's right, and I think he's got probably the widest shoulders in the league, so it couldn't fall on any better shoulders. Nate, I think, rose to the occasion the other night, and granted, we missed Jimmy Jones, and I think we missed having fresh bodies on. We've been a pretty good fourth quarter ball club until the other night, and I think that possibly we were hurt then, and hopefully we'll be able to rest him a little bit better as the game goes on, so he'll be stronger that fourth quarter.
Now, we both know that Nate can't go 48 minutes. Now, who's going to be your backup center for Nate?
Well, right now we're going with John Lambert, and we feel he's got, he can at least run Dave while he's on there, and if we got into a situation where we wanted to play some power behind him, we'd throw Luke Woody in there.
Right now, I noticed at the game on your first game, Bingo Smith and Jim Brewer were just a little bit below par as far as their scoring, as far as their shooting was concerned. Was it the Boston defense, or was it the lack of shooting?
Well, I think they were selling Tommy Heinsohn's book down the drain, trying to prove that he can't smile, because every time Bingo missed, Tommy was smiling. But they had one of those nights. Bingo, as you know, if he gets another 10 shots in that game, he'll probably drop. And hopefully he's had his bad shooting night. Brew was doing a job defensively, and the role that he plays is pretty tough for him to. If he doesn't have points, I don't worry about it. When he does get the points, I figure it's our bonus.
Billy, are you going to go with the same thing that brought you here? You're going to bring Austin Carr off the bench and Footy Walker?
Right, and Campy Russell. I think that they've, as you say, they've gotten us here, and that's been the formula. And really, all we've done is change, and we've, in our own minds, Jim Jones fouled out on the jump ball, and we're going from there.
Okay, Bill. The best of luck to you today. Good luck. All right, and back to Brent Musburger.
Thank you very much, Mindy. As you watched Game 1, Sonny, did Boston have to change anything because Thurman was out there rather than Jones?
Yes, they did. If Jones had been playing, they would have run more plays down low. But with Nate Thurman in the ball game, being the great center that he is, they took the sixth play out in most cases. Cowens played the high post, which is respect for Nate's low post play, but also the Celtics feeling that maybe a little more mobility on the part of Cowens would be able to negate Nate's strength down low, and they did that quite frequently in the ball game.
How are the Celtics for this game? Are they healthy?
The Celtics are basically healthy. Cowens has had some back spasms, but he's had those all year long, and I'm quite sure that in the big ball game, as he's always been, he's ready.
Okay, I'm sure you heard the buzzer behind me. We are just about ready to start Game 2 here in the Boston Garden. We'll be back with that opening tip-off as the NBA Today on CBS continues in just a moment.
State Farm agent Doug Mays.
We specialize, of course, in the personal lines, meaning the automobile insurance, the fire insurance, the life insurance.
They want someone who is professional, someone they can have confidence in, and they want to be able to understand what they're buying.
State Farm agent Jim Golden.
For their family. But most of all, they want someone that they can count on to be there when they need him. And I think most people will find that a State Farm agent is that kind of a guy.
It's a very nice feeling to know that you insure a client and are furnishing all their insurance needs for all different kinds of insurance. And they are happy enough with the job that you're doing and the service that you're providing so that they go and tell their neighbors, who in turn may not be getting this kind of personal service that we try so hard to give.
I like my business. I like what I'm doing, and I like the people I'm working with.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. Beauty, charm, and talent are in the spotlight when America's new Junior Miss is crowned. Tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on CBS.
Fox wagons from Audi. A wagon that's just as nimble as the Fox sedan, with front-engine, front-wheel drive. At an EPA estimated 37 miles per gallon on the highway and 24 in the city. They don't eat much, but they sure hold a lot. And they can rarely move when they have to. Catch one if you can. The Volkswagen by Audi.
Don Rickles versus National Car Rental.
Sir? You can't take this car.
I rented it. What'd you do, hide the engine?
This is your Chevy Malibu. This one just came back. It can't be rented until I inspect it.
Come on. You'd rent me a Camel if I take it.
No car leaves this lot until I check out every item on this list.
Give some guys a pen, and they go bananas.
National's Maintenance Checklist. It certifies the condition of your car in writing.
Channel 2, New York.
Give it all you got, take your very best shot, and may the best team win. The time is now, the name of the game is action. They're on the floor and they're ready to score, so let the game begin. And let's see how the ball's gonna bounce today. Welcome to NBA. Come on and join the run of the crowd. There's a line crossing around from your way. You'll see the best in basketball.
Today's NBA playoff game on CBS is sponsored by Sir Walter Raleigh, the quality pipe tobaccos of America. Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves. And by Polaroid's $28 Super Shooter for the 60-second masterpiece.
From the Boston Garden, Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Final of the NBA. The Boston Celtics, a 111-99 winner over the Cleveland Cavaliers in the first game, lead this series, which will move back to Cleveland following this game for 2 contests. Today, of course, Cleveland will be attempting to stop the famous Boston Celtic fast break. As you take a look at their head coach, Bill Fitch, in the middle, his assistant Jimmy Rogers over on the left-hand side. There are our starting lineups: Havlicek, Silas, Cowan, Scott and White against Smith, Brewer, Thurman, Clemens, and Snyder. The officials for today's game: Darryl Garrettson, wearing number 10 on his back, will toss it up, working along with Manny Sokol. And so, Mindy Rudolph, we are ready to begin.
Up she goes.
Boston Celtics win the tap. They'll start the fourth quarter with the ball. Charlie Scott, game's first shot. Celtics lead it 2-0. Clemens went down, did not draw the offensive foul. And
Bill Fitch was vehement on that play. He thought the offensive foul was there.
Clemens, 35. He is the playmaker for the Cavaliers. As Jimmy Brewer, number 52, pops out and goes in. Snyder rotates over to the right wing. Clemens now with JoJo White hand checking him. Shot clock goes down. Bingo Smith forced out by Cowens, and so Snyder at the perimeter.
Cleveland is such a great perimeter shooting team that they cannot allow Snyder to take that kind of a shot, because he'll burn the Celtics all afternoon.
They trade baskets. Havlicek over to Cowens. It's 4-2, and no one has missed.
Great pass by John Havlicek.
Clemens on the far side. JoJo White looking for the pick. Brewer comes out. White takes Clemens inside, and Bingo Smith pops out with Havlicek hand checking him. Clemens first shot, left-hand shooter. 4 for 4 for these two teams. Tied at 4. The early going here from the Boston Garden. JoJo White has Clemens watching him. Snyder checking Charlie Scott. Bingo Smith taking Havlicek at the Celtics offensive end. Cowens out high. Big Nate Thurman. Inside, JoJo White burns Snyder.
And Paul Silas set that pick for JoJo White to get free. Snyder was just left with his head turned that time, Brett.
A 2-point Boston Celtic lead, 6-4. Bingo Smith, the last of the original Cavaliers, with the ball on the floor. Inside to Nate Thurman, who played 39 minutes in Game 1. Here's Bingo, wearing number 7, maneuvers, gets inside with a miss. Off quickly to Havlicek. Loses control. Now must pass it off. It's Cowens, the trailing man, who rotates left, goes to the hoop, throws up the hook shot. Clemens back down for the Cavaliers. Far side, motors past Charlie Scott. Scott there, Clemens. Cowens back quickly, hustling as he always does. Here's White. Silas again with that pick. Snyder goes down, right from the perimeter, off the iron, and Nate Thurman battles and loses control. Then go back to the Celtics.
Just couldn't get the handle on the ball. I'll tell you, I saw the game the other night when Nate Thurman played 35 minutes, and he played an absolute super ball game because he hadn't played that much time in 5-6 years, Brent.
9 minutes and 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. 6-4 Celtic lead, and we've got traveling, a turnover. From the
Can't
side,
pick
the
up that
Cavaliers.
pivot foot, Brent, unless you put the ball to 4 first.
Snyder coming over to the near side. Charlie Scott wanting him to go left. He's cheating that way. Snyder goes underneath, and Brewer pops out. Rotates right side from the corner. Thurman out high. Off the iron, and here's Collins. Off to Charlie Scott. Celtics trying to keep up the pressure attack. Keep it moving. Scott to the right baseline. Not there, and Thurman, after Clemens left his feet a little too early, it was Nate who cleaned up. And here's Dick Snyder. Not there, and it was Paul Silas. Havlicek quickly to Charlie Scott, and he traveled again. So that's 2 turnovers by Charlie Scott here in the early going. Both traveling calls. Tommy Heinsohn been bothered by an upset stomach, Mindy.
Pensive Tommy Heinsohn on medication right now for that stomach. I mentioned that he was awfully quiet during these playoffs, and that was the reason why. Tommy's not feeling up to stuff.
Here's Thurman. Giving to Jimmy Brewer, who has Silas on him, and Brewer goes jump shot. Collins inside, and Thurman was up over his back. So Big Nate picks up his first foul.
And Dave Collins, again, with the great position, there was just no way that Nate could get that rebound. And knowing Nate with the smarts that he has upstairs, I thought he should have laid off the play and let Collins get the rebound as opposed to giving up the foul.
Cavaliers are pressuring the ball, making the Celtics work to set up a play. Normally, Boston, not a great pattern team. They just love to keep the white heat on you. Here is Charlie Scott. A 4-point Celtic lead. It's 8-4 in the early going. Clemens quarterbacks off to Bingo. Havlicek keeping him out away from the basket. Thurman pops out. Inside to Smith. Turnaround. And he hits it.
Finally, I talked to Bingo Smith before the game, and I asked him about his 1 for 10 shooting the other night, and he said, I was getting good shots, they just wouldn't fall.
That time it fell, and it closed Boston's lead to 2. Here is John Havlicek. Gives off to JoJo White, who drives the baseline. Thurman at that defensive board, and Bingo comes out, gives it right back to Nate, who comes over here to Clemens. Collins picks up Clemens. Clemens goes up over him. Off the front, Celtics with control. Havlicek took it back from Scott, and as Bingo brought down the rebound, there was a foul.
There was Dave Collins just following up the ball. He knows no other way. Here we see the fast break with Havlicek hitting for the center court over to Charlie Scott. Now watch Collins come into your picture here, and there's the foul.
All right, Mindy, let's see if the Cavaliers can work a play and get it tied up the first quarter. Thurman again out high, setting his pick, stops Havlicek, and Bingo uses it well to tie it. He's hit his last 2. He's 2 of 3 for the game. What a difference that could be. One of the fine shooters in the NBA. 7:19 to go. Havlicek was fouled by Bingo as he took that pass. Bill Fitch telling Bingo, just relax a little bit. Be easy on a play like that.
What Fitch just hollered to him, Grant, was not to front Havlicek, to play him side, probably overplay his right side, but don't front Havlicek.
JoJo White forced back out by Thurman. Collins rolls to the basket. Snyder with a good defensive job. Now Thurman gets back on Collins. Here's Havlicek using a screen. Smith picks up 2.
You heard the call by Garrison. He just caught John Havlicek on the elbow that time, which was enough to throw the shot off.
Interesting thing about the Cleveland team, Mindy, is that Fitch can go to the bench. He can pick up a Campy Russell. He can pick up an Austin Carr. He has about as much firepower on his bench as any of the 4 teams now left in the playoffs. And, of course, Phoenix Golden State, Game 4, coming up right after this contest here on CBS.
I actually think that when Bill Fitch goes to his bench, Brent, especially with Austin Carr in the ballgame, they will do an awful lot of penetrating. His club seems to move a lot faster and a lot better with Austin Carr. So when he goes there, as you said, he doesn't hurt his ball club.
Havlicek's free throws put Boston back on top 10-8. 6:54 to go in the first quarter. Silas and Brewer, two of the strong men of the NBA duel. It jumps off on Clemens, so Brewer takes his man down inside.
3 seconds.
JoJo White watching him underneath, and Silas out on the steal. Lead pass Charlie Scott. No one there. Should be an easy one.
You people see why Paul Silas is voted the best defensive player up front in the NBA. And you'll see the switch on this defense. Watch Paul Silas anticipate this. He'll come into your picture and steal the ball beautifully, knowing Charlie Scott is on the wing, onto him for a Boston Celtic fast break.
I definitely recommend a Datsun from the experience that I've had. Well, when I originally bought the pickup, I thought I'd be able to put about 50,000 miles on it, and then I was figuring on trading it off. But it's got 118,000 miles on it now. It's been absolutely the most durable vehicle I've ever owned. And I'll definitely buy another one if it ever wear out.
2 tough Datsun pickups, 7-foot stretch and 6-foot standard. No wonder Datsun's America's #1 selling small pickup. Datsun saves.
This is an antiperspirant spray called Sure. It's different. Really. Most antiperspirant sprays go on wet and oily, compared to Sure, which goes on dry. And Sure keeps you drier. Prove it under your own 2 arms. Try Sure on your left side and the spray you like best on your right side. If you're like most people, your left side will convince your right side. You'll be drier. We're sure.
In 7,500 miles, your oil filter cycles enough oil to fill 3 tank trucks. A big job. And here's the filter for it. Introducing the Silver Bullet. New double oil filter from STP. The only one that filters every drop of oil through 2 filter elements every filter cycle. For a better combination of long life and high efficiency than the 5 other best-selling filters. Filter all your oil twice with the Silver Bullet. New from STP.
General Manager Red Auerbach with some celebrities of their own right up there in his box. That Irv Levin, of course, is the owner of the Celtics, and his lovely wife, Michelle, who's here watching this, the second game of the Eastern Conference Final between the Cavaliers and I guess we can call Mindy her Boston Celtics. They're up by a game. And they lead here 12-8. We've got 6 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Celtics come out with pressure. JoJo White on Clemens. Jimmy just turns around and gets it up court. Bounce pass to Thurman, who's playing out high, setting picks for this Cavalier perimeter attack. Clemens looking to go inside. Takes White. Gets past him easily, didn't he? And there are the Celtics right back, and Dick Snyder with a fine defensive play. Off to Jimmy Brewer, who puts it on. Cavaliers can tie it. They try to hit 2 field goals in a row right here. Thurman over to Snyder. Havlicek is watching him. Now they come left side, Jimmy Clemens again. Clemens up against Scott off the front of the iron. Silas off to JoJo White. Good movement here. Scott over to Havlicek.
And there's the classic example of the Boston fast break. A prettier play you will not see. Just perfectly executed.
14-10. Boston over Cleveland. Thurman wanting Smith to slide past him and get him the ball on that side. Nate rolls. Right-hand hook. Silence. There's Havlicek sealed off Bingo Smith. Paul pulled down the rebound. Celtics can go up by 6 points. Cleveland has not yet led in this series. Either game. There was traveling call 3rd time against the Celtics here in the first quarter.
Let's watch John Havlicek move without the ball. He does that so well. Now, Charlie Scott hit him with a pass that was really too fast, but John Havlicek the handle, therefore the turnover.
Snyder again going underneath. Scott with him. They leave 1 guard out, and a forward pops out on this offensive attack for Bill Fitch. And here's Nate Thurman. He's been staying out away from the basket. Bingo Smith. Havlicek knocks it away. Bingo regains control. One-on-one basketball. Turnaround. Paul Silas and Brewer were dueling. Brewer saved it, bounced it. There were Celtics there to get it. Scott leads to Cowens back, and it was traveling again. Cowens tried just to get it back. He knew he did not have control, but he did not in time.
Again, that's the pass again. A little too heavy, a little too fast. You can't handle that pass. And no pass is a good pass unless your teammate will recover it and catch it.
4:46. Phoenix and Golden State coming up next here on CBS. We'll have highlights of Game 3 at halftime with Sonny Hill. Here's Jimmy Brewer with the ball on the floor. Uses a pick set by Thurman. Throws it off to him inside. Silas is there. He switched off. Snyder, the jump shot. Cowens left alone to pull down that rebound. Celtics ahead 14-10. 4:25 left in the first quarter. Celtics weave it off to Cowens.
Oh, that is way out of Dave Cowens' range, but he converted it, and it'll never show in the final tabulations. It'll score as a field goal just as a layup.
That wasn't even an intended pass. That ball just kind of bounced away from Hondo as Bingo Smith answers with a shot of his own. 4-point Boston lead. And 3:59. Charlie Scott stepped on the sideline. He has turned it over 3 times in the first quarter, twice traveling, and once stepping on the sideline.
And Bingo Smith, who had only 1 field goal the other night, and has 3 already this particular quarter, as does Charlie Scott. Only 1 field goal the other night, and 3 this quarter.
Off JoJo's leg, out of bounds. Campy Russell checking into the game. He is our first substitute. So the former Michigan star replaces the former Minnesota star as Jimmy Brewer goes out and Campy Russell comes in. Campy in his 2nd year. He's a fine shooter. He can get something going for you in a hurry. From the left corner, Snyder comes around that Thurman screen. Nate has been busy with his picks. Snyder off the iron and Thurman inside with an offensive rebound. Second chance coming up here for Cleveland. Thurman with a hook shot, can't convert. Silas. Thurman complaining bitterly that he was fouled and there was not a whistle. Silas, kind of a lob pass to Scott, who gets inside. Nice body control. Ball won't go. Campy Russell came down with it. Cleveland's ball. Clemens now with a few words to say to Sokol.
And I thought Nate Thurman had a gripe coming. There were 2 Celtics laying all over his back on that last attempted layup. And they've got to get those fouls called. If they don't, Boston is at a distinct advantage.
16-12. Cavaliers trailing by 4. Campy Russell with the dribble at the line. And off to Snyder. Silas is watching him. And to the hoop against Paul Silas and drew the foul. Very bright basketball by Dick Snyder. He had the bigger, stronger forward on him. So instead of passing it off, he took the drive on him, knowing that he's quicker than Paul Silas. And he didn't get the layup basket, but instead he drew the foul from Paul Silas. We got a timeout here in the first quarter. 2 minutes and 59 seconds left.
The right grip gives me the control I want, on the court or on the road. And that's why my tires are Armstrong. Armstrong tires grip the road to ride you and your family in safety and comfort. And now your Armstrong dealer is featuring this rugged, steel-belted radial. Get the right tire at the right price at your local Armstrong dealer. Armstrong tires grip the road.
You know, we've had a few disagreements over the years, but there's one thing we do agree on, and that's light beer from Miller. Light is 1/3 less calories than their regular beer.
But the best part is that it tastes so great.
The best part is it's less filling.
Nah, it tastes great.
Less filling.
Tastes great.
Less filling. Less filling. You know even less about beer than basketball.
That's it, Heinsohn. You're out of the bar.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I really find my Datsun extremely durable. I drive it everywhere. I literally live in the car to a degree. And 247,000 miles on that Datsun, and it just keeps going and going and going and refuses to quit going. That's a durable car.
They're put together to stay together for Datsun savings that just won't quit. All 3 Datsun B210s deliver 41 miles per gallon highway, 29 city. Datsun saves.
Happy Mother's Day from Boston. Mindy, watch the game. Look at this, huh?
There you go.
He brought the children.
Oh, Daddy's using his forefinger as a pacifier. Isn't that cute?
No. So far in this game, we have not had a lot of fouls. Neither team in the penalty situation. In fact, Cleveland will be shooting its first free throws as Dick Snyder comes to the line. Boston has shot only 2. John Havlicek converted both of them. Turnovers have been a factor. Boston has turned it over 6 times, and Cleveland won. The Celtics, though, lead it 16-12, 2:59 to go in the first quarter. Here's one of those savvy ball players that doesn't get much recognition. Just goes along day in and day out and does his job. Hits 1 of 2. So it's a 3 3-point Celtic lead. And again, Jimmy Clemens back there with pressure on the ball. Making the Celtics work a little bit, trying to keep the guards away from getting in too low. Here's Paul Silas taking the pass, working against Campy Russell. Rolling hook, that was successful against Russell in the fourth quarter, game one. Cavaliers can pull to within one. Here is Snyder at the perimeter.
Shoots so well on the run. Gets his feet set, up he goes, doesn't put the ball to the floor too often, and field goal.
2:30 to go now in the first quarter. Havlicek takes the pass, gives it off to Charlie Scott, who gets in, and he can slice to the hoop.
And that slice to the hoop again was by Paul Silas, who set a pick against 2 Cleveland Cavaliers that time, and with the speed of Charlie Scott, just laid it up on the glass.
Cleveland working against that 3-point Boston lead. Again without Jimmy Jones. Bingo Smith. Oh, he is much better than he was in game one. He has at least tripled his output already, hasn't he, Bendy? 1 of 10 in that first game. Havlicek working off, waiting for Scott, and this time Clemens cut him off. Clemens did not give him that move down the baseline to the basket. Good defensive play. Havlicek takes the shot back outside, and Bingo comes down. Credit Clemens with good defense that time. Celtics wanted to burn him with Scott. It's 18-17. Cleveland can take its first lead here in this series. We come down to 1:15 of the first quarter. Let's see what they've got. Thurman gives it off to Bingo. Turnaround on Havlicek. Off the front of the iron. Now the Celtics come down with 1:30 to go. Snyder forces White to hold up. Towns wheels it off to Scott, who sure wants that left side on Clemens. Havlicek at the top of the circle. It's a 3-point Boston lead again. 20-17 and 1:20 to go in the first quarter.
It's amazing how shooters will react from one game to another, Brent. In the first game, or a particular game, they can't put the ball in the hole, can't throw a hat in the ocean, and they come out the second game, and everything is falling.
Perhaps Bingo a little more relaxed, Mindy. Here he is again.
There it goes. And
he is
a good
deadly
shooter
right now.
He is a good shooter. In that first game the other night, Brent, he had good shot selection, too. He wasn't forcing shots. He had good shots, but they just weren't falling.
JoJo White with Smith on him. Come down to 48 seconds left, and JoJo hits.
And Bingo just shook his head and said, I did everything right again, and that JoJo White just burned me.
Cavaliers come down. If they go to the hot man, they'll go to Smith. He has already scored 10 points in the first quarter. Here's Jimmy Clemens coming into that lane here. That's the spot the Cavaliers want. They have turned it over because of the 3-second violation. Rookie John Lambert checks into the game, and Nate Thurman will get a break.
Now here's a good substitution by Bill Fitch. There's about 30 seconds, exactly 28 seconds to play.
Ernie DiGregorio was looking on with the new coach of the Buffalo Braves, Tates Locke. From the right corner, Havlicek. Inside pass to White. Pretty play. Clemens loses it. Silas on the steal. John Lambert off of the rebound. It's 24-19. 5 seconds. This will be the last shot in the first quarter. And Clemens turned it over. Could not control his dribble.
A little too anxious to get the ball in shooting position, of course, turned it over, palmed it.
Just 2 seconds. That's all they'll have. Now remember, the clock does not start until this pass is touched. They can get a shot off. Scott straddling the line with 1 second, throws it up. Close.
Just hit the front of the ring and almost went in.
A little late flurry by the Boston Celtics to boost their lead to 5 points as we come to the end of one quarter, 24-19.
You see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
You're about to travel the extra miles the average car will get from a tank full of gasoline by changing to a new, higher-priced synthesized motor oil that reduces friction so well, it can save you up to 10 miles per tank full. New Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas.
There goes the gang to Grandma's house. The green turtle, the yellow bunny, and the lady in red. This is the color Polaroid Super Shooter now turns into a 60-second masterpiece. More red, more yellow, more green than you ever got in 60 seconds before. Super Color film and $28 Super Shooter.
Hey, Freddie Lynn. Know what kind of fragrance a woman really likes on a man?
Something manly and fresh.
For his face. For his body.
Something that lasts all day.
Aqua Velva's great musk. It lasts from dawn until dusk. Musk from Aqua Velva, the extra strength lotion with a fragrance that lasts all day.
Aqua Velva's great musk. It's so manly and fresh all day. There's something about an Aqua Velva man.
In that first quarter against the Boston Celtics and Dave Cowens, Bingo Smith hit 5 of 8 from the field. There he is represented with those 10 points. As for Boston, Charlie Scott hit 4 of 7, high for the Celtics with 8. Cleveland puts it in play. They trail by 5 points. Kevin Stakem now in the game. So too is Foots Walker, number 14. Talk about someone changing the tempo of a basketball game. Watch Foots. Have a foul as they come down. That's against Walker.
There's that field goal percentage. Cleveland at 41% and Boston at 52%. Boston shooting the eyes out of the ball right now.
John Nelson in the corner. Can't be Russell on him. Cowens working against Lambert. Takes the hook shot. Brewer down with it. Off to Snyder. And Walker brings it up. Stakem watching him. Gives it off to Campy Russell. His first shot.
I'll tell you, he shot that ball with such confidence and such assuredness that it was amazing. The look on his face was incredible. He knew it was going in the hoop.
Here's Charlie Scott. Put off balance. Lambert there to retrieve it for the Cavaliers. Fans wanted a traveling call as he pulled it down off in the corner to Snyder at the perimeter. And the Cavaliers have pulled to within 1 point with 11:01 to go in the first half. It's 24-23. Don't forget, right after this game, we'll go down to Phoenix. Game 4, the Suns and the champion Golden State Warriors. Nelson.
I got to check Don Nelson's diet. The playoff games that he's having since these all started is absolutely marvelous for a guy who's 36 years old and looking to retire.
Snyder runs into Cowens. They eyeball each other. Play is stopped on a Walker drive.
Dave Cowens just pushed Snyder off it because he was about to run into him. And he just pushed Walker off, who was about to run into him. Now let's see what he does against Lambert, who he's playing on defense.
That was the first foul against Stakem. Walker comes over to the left baseline. Good defense over there. He's forced to pass it off to Campy Russell. Cowens was out. Silas battling Brewer. Loose ball. Cowens lets Scott handle it. Lead pass to Dave Cowens, deflected out of bounds. Touch last by Cleveland.
I spoke to Lambert before the game, the defensive player on Cowens right now with Cleveland, and he said playing Dave Cowens is an absolute education. If you want to learn this game, play him, and you'll see what I just meant. He got burned by Cowens.
You see how Cowens used his muscle mending? Just forced him out of the way and then rolled in with a layup. It's a 5-point Celtic lead, 28-23. Here's the rookie Lambert holding the ball. Offensive foul on Jimmy Brewer.
Those turnovers were a hurt. I mean, you can't afford those kind of turnovers, not against a team like Boston.
Near side, Charlie Scott, bounce pass to Cowens, cut off by Lambert, so he goes up. Silas battling for the rebound. Loose ball, here come the Cavaliers. Puts Walker in the middle. Comes up with a jump shot.
And that's the exact spot to lead a fast break. Right down the middle, put 2 players on your wings. If they cover the 2 wingmen, take your jump shot just like Foots Walker did. Good execution.
Kevin Stakem puts Walker on him. Here's Nelson, drives the baseline. Walker and Stakem in a foot race, and Stakem stayed right with him. Here's Captain Russell driving against Silas. Plays it up. Cowens was there. Russell said he came up on top of me. No foul. Back comes Charlie Scott. That gives to Silas the trailing man. Snyder hit the ball. Went out of bounds.
Not only giving it to Silas, the trailing man, but I thought that perhaps Charlie Scott in handing off could have caused another turnover on a walk. Footsy Walker on his rump. There it is. There's the walk I spoke about. The ball will be inbounded with 9:01 left to play. 28-25. Boston in favor.
Do you ever wonder what those drip marks mean? Here's how to find out.
When the engine is cold, spread paper under your car to catch new drips.
Clean air conditioner condensation is okay, but reddish transmission fluid, black or gray oil, or engine coolant here could mean trouble. You'll find more answers about how to spot trouble in the early warning book, free from your participating Shell dealer. Come to Shell for answers.
Hey, kids, come on over and try this one on.
In your shopping list of what you want in an economy car, be sure to include all these standard features. All 4 Datsun 710s have them. Plus, room for the kids and the performance of a race-bred engine. Check the competition. They don't come close. Datsun 710. No wonder Datsun cars and trucks are America's #1 selling import. Datsun saves. Test drive a 710 sedan, hardtop, or wagon with your family this week.
Why are men switching to America's fastest-growing hairspray, Vitalis Super Hold?
The pump? It can hold longer than a leading aerosol.
The pump's not an aerosol, so you don't spray any aerosol propellants.
The pump costs less to use, saves money.
The pump, Vitalis Super Hold. It's not an aerosol, can hold longer, and costs less to use.
And that's why I switched to the pump.
Vitalis Super Hold.
Next Friday night on CBS at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, another NBA playoff game, one of the semifinals. Could be Boston, Cleveland, could be Phoenix, Golden State. We'll see what the schedule holds for us. And, of course, right after this game, we'll go down to Phoenix. That's the 4th game of that series. The Warriors lead it 2 games to 1. I was out there for Game 3 on Friday night. We'll have the highlights of that contest here at halftime of this game. The Suns have come a long, long ways under Jerry Colangelo and John McLeod. They're doing a fine job down there against the champions. Here's Kevin Stakem against Walker. Has it knocked away. JoJo White is there off his leg. They'll lose it. They have lost it. Now the Cavaliers can pull to within a point. 8:53 to go in the first half. Austin Carr, number 34, working in the backcourt for Bill Fitch.
That's another turnover for the Celtics, and that's unlike them, Brent, because they're a much better ball-handling club than we've seen so far.
Russell working against Don Nelson. Austin Carr trying to create some movement. Russell puts it on the floor himself as the shot clock goes down inside of 10 seconds. Cowens jumps out on Campy, came over and got him. Campy was going to try to turn the corner. Cowens fouled it.
Let's watch this. Campy Russell going one-on-one. Now watch Cowens' hands. See that left plant push? Play they must call. Puts the defense at a great advantage if you're allowed to use your hands that way, Brent.
Second foul against Cowens. Stakem is picked off by Russell, so he just fronts him and sticks right with him and says, help, I got a big man inside. They don't go to him. Brewer at the perimeter. Didn't matter.
The mismatch was with Campy Russell again. They did hit him, as you said. Brewer took the shot.
A 1-point Boston Celtic lead and 8:20 to go. And the Cavaliers getting tough down here on defense. Celtics not getting easy baskets the last couple of minutes, making them work hard. Knocked away by Carr, and here comes Jimmy Brewer. Cavaliers can slide into that lead if they can convert here. Campy Russell with the ball on the floor, and Nelson there. Thurman comes out. Cowens backing off a little bit. Not fearful of him as a long shooter, but Austin Carr will shoot you. And the Cavaliers have taken their first lead in the Eastern Conference Final in 2 games. 29-28. Boston Celtics now want to call a timeout and talk things over. They've got 7 minutes and 51 seconds. The Cavaliers have changed up, gone to their bench, and they may have found the right combination.
You're the pro, George. I need some new tires. What kind should I get? You're holding the answer in your hand. X-Fly tires? Turn it around, Frank. Dunlop. Dunlop tires, of course. Sure, Dunlop's one of the largest tire manufacturers in the world. That means a lot of people are putting a lot of trust in Dunlop on the road.
When you want to get more out of your drive, see a pro. That's me. See your Dunlop Pro. If you like us on the fairway, you'll love us on the freeway.
You know, I finally found a beer I can respect. Light beer from Miller. It tastes great. But what I really like is it's less filling. Light has 1/3 less calories than their regular beer. I tell you, I gotta watch myself. This is a tough place. Well, this place is so tough, the hat check girl's name is Dominic. In a place like this, I gotta move fast. I can't afford to get filled up. I tell you, I don't get no respect.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Next Saturday at 4 p.m. and Sunday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports presents the $200,000 Colonial National Invitation from Fort Worth, Texas, where Lee Trevino, Tom Weisskopf, and many more top stars will be shooting for the $40,000 first prize. That's next Saturday and Sunday.
The Boston Celtics trying to add one more championship banner to their collection here atop the Boston Garden. Cleveland Cavaliers, the Golden State Warriors, and the Phoenix Suns still stand in their way. JoJo White with control, and 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go as Cowens comes out high. Gives it off to White. Celtics offense has bogged down. And as Brewer went up, there was a loose ball foul. He was hit by Don Nelson. Mendy, what's happened here to the Celtics?
They have stopped running, and they are absolutely just standing around flat-footed. Dave Cowens, during that last time out on the Celtic bench, really got into some of his players, and he started to shout and scream to get this thing going. They are standing around and have no offense at all.
And no John Havlicek right now. He's on the bench. Austin Carr misses. Cowens will give the Celtics a chance. Here they come. They trail it by a point. JoJo White sealed off nicely by Carr. Kevin Staker gives it back to Nelson, and Campy Russell is right there on defense, and Turner with the rebound. And the Cavaliers are playing tough D right now. Foots Walker at the line, off to Russell from the perimeter. Wow, he shoots with confidence. I'll tell you, this team can shoot, Mendy. They're as good as any ball club in the NBA when they get hot. It's 31-28. Kaburski, Charlie Scott back up. He's coming in. Here's Kevin Staker. Celtics go to a perimeter shot and hit it. Now it's a 1-point Cleveland lead and 6:40 to go in the first half. Walker, Carr, Russell, Thurmond, and Brewer against Stakem, White, Nelson, Kaburski, and Cowens. Those are the 10 players on the floor right now. Campy Russell setting up a play. Brewer comes over, slides inside off of his screen. Campy goes one-on-one. Cowens jumps off on defense. Thurmond came up on Kaburski, and we got a loose ball.
Bob going against Nate Thurmond, trying to go over for the rebound. That's a play Nate should really stay away from.
Now the Celtics go back to Charlie Scott and John Havlicek. Havlicek will work at forward with Kaburski. Scott and White will be in the backcourt. Boston 3 team fouls and Cleveland 1. We have not had a lot of fouls called in this game. 6 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second quarter. A 1-point Cleveland lead. Kaburski, mismatch. Carr came over and fouled him.
84 to bang up.
Kaburski with Foots Walker underneath. Austin quickly came over to help out, and he caught him with his arm, although Carr is complaining that it was a clean block.
And he saw Carr coming and protected the ball with that arm. Will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. Possibly a play that he did not deserve, Brent. Could have very easily been an offensive foul.
Kaburski's free throw ties it. 31 all. 6:04 left. Cavaliers come down, trying to set a play to go ahead. It's Austin Carr. Cavaliers being very patient. Back to Brewer. Inside to Russell. They'll have to hurry now. Campy's got it and drew the foul, and Heinz is complaining that he traveled before he fired the shot.
Very important play by Cleveland. Shot clock was down to 3 seconds. Got the shot off. Going to have a 3-point play. There's the foul as he goes up. Possible 3-point play. Very important play. At this point in the game, Brent, this game is up for grabs because this is the quarter in the first game. The Celtics opened up a 17-point lead against Cleveland with the same combination, the same substitutions. And right now, Cleveland is in front. The Cleveland Cavaliers, 4-man, are convinced, absolutely, that they can beat the Celtics.
They lead them by 3 points right now, Mendy, and that was the first foul against John Havlicek. 5:30 to go. Scott throws one up on the right baseline. Cowens taps it up. Cowens got over and touched the ball, and then it was hit next by a member of the Cavaliers, so the Celtics retained possession. Havlicek.
There's that famous inbounds play of the Celtics where they line up 3 or 4 men on the vertical screen. Very, very difficult to defend against. I anticipate the NBA changing the rule on that play where they're not allowed to line up like that and keep it wide open.
Paul Silas getting ready to check back in as Scott came around and fouled Carr. Austin had lost control of the dribble, and Scott popped out behind him thinking he could knock it away from him. Silas comes in the game, and Kaburski goes over to the bench.
Well, that was only Charlie Scott's first personal foul. Interesting, Brent. He has fouled out of the 7 games that the Celtics have played in the playoffs. Charlie Scott has fouled out 4 of them. Celtics in the penalty situation. Every time they commit a foul from here on in, Cleveland will go to the free throw line.
Notre Dame fans still remember Austin Carr and his great exploits there in South Bend. What a collegiate career he had for the Irish. Charlie Scott and JoJo White in the Celtic backcourt. Havlicek, Silas, and Cowens. So Tommy Heinsohn has his 5 starters on the floor. Campy Russell assessed with the personal.
Let's look and see if JoJo White takes Footy Walker down low. That's exactly what they did in the Buffalo series when they got Ernie D in there. The height advantage, JoJo White will go down post or go one-on-one on him.
Back to Cowens, who followed him. Great defensive play by Thurman. Off quickly to Cavaliers Walker. Behind his back to Carr. Cowens trying to cut him off. He let him have room, and Thurman comes to the other end.
Austin Carr driving the baseline and penetrating. Nate Thurman seeing the mismatch, cutting down the lane with a great pass.
Havlicek got free, drove past Campy Russell, picked up the foul as he drove to the hoop for the basket, and Bill Fitch obviously not happy with that call. It's continuation play in the NBA. He's got the basket, he'll come to the line.
Bill Fitch was not so unhappy with the call as he was with Campy Russell, Brent. He really shouted out some defensive instructions to Campy Russell, not liking the way he played Havlicek. Havlicek does not have that much speed. He just outsmarted Campy Russell on that drive to the hoop.
And Minnie, that free throw by John made it a 38-36 Cleveland lead with 4:25 to play in the first half. Here's Carr. Now they go back to Brewer. 2 Celtics jumped out on Carr. Brewer was left alone. He hit the jump shot. 4-point Cavalier lead. Havlicek trying to put the pressure on. Came right back and challenged Nate Thurman. And Thurman picks up the foul. That's the Cavaliers' 5th. Bingo Smith will come in.
This is what's so great about John Havlicek. He knows his team is in a doldrum, I would think, at this point in the game, Brent. And it's John Havlicek, the captain, the wise master, possibly going to score the next 5 points for the Boston Celtics. Firing his team up, taking the ball one-on-one, driving to the hoop, causing something to happen out here. The rest of the Celtics at this point, and I haven't seen the Celtics like this in a long time, look a little lethargic to me, Brent. They do not look like they're all fired up for this ballgame. And they better be careful, because Cleveland can take these clubs easily. They could have had them the other night. They didn't.
Havlicek has scored 11 points so far, make it 12. He's hit 4 of 6 from the field. 4:10 to go in the first half. One of the ball boys wiping a little moisture off the floor. Bingo Smith has checked back into the game. Reminder, of course, of our next attraction, Phoenix Golden State, and then on Saturday here on CBS, the Preakness. Bull Forbes in that rematch against Honest Pleasure. You'll see that Saturday afternoon.
And the only Celtic Brent who has scored for the Celtics in the past 2.5 minutes has been John Havlicek. No one else has scored but John.
Even though the Celtics have been lethargic, Mindy, they still trail by just 2 points right now. Fitz Walker trying to go back inside to Brewer, knocked away by the Celtics, who clogged up the middle. Good steal by Brewer. Came back, and now it's 3-on-2. Walker off to Austin Carr. 3-on-3, Havlicek back. Carr inside, left-handed shot. Cowens retrieves it. Scott has Havlicek ahead of him. Hondo keeping the motion, keeping the movement. Rolls in the hook shot, the game is tied. So a one-man offense, and the Celtics are right there.
John Havlicek for the last 3 minutes, Brent.
Bingo Smith, who's back in the game. Waits and Silas is there. Right corner, Austin Carr. Cavaliers back on top. .310 until halftime. Bingo Smith and White collide, and we got offense called against JoJo.
Always an unhappy call when you call one of the hometown players for an offensive foul.
Now the Cavaliers can pull ahead by 4. We come down to the 3-minute mark. Walker wanted to go to the basket. White was there. And Walker is assessed the offense. He pushed off against him.
God, but you get that ball. Garrison says, give it back to me. Now they're playing ping pong. Harrison says, Carol, show me some respect.
And he does. No technical. It's 42-40. Celtics with a chance to tie it up again. Inside to Charlie Scott, who wants the post Carr. Gets Carr off his feet, draws the foul.
That is one thing that you cannot do against any of the great jump shooters in this league, Francis. Leave your feet on the first fake. They'll pump you once. They'll get you up in the air. They'll look for the free throw on the attempted shot. Very poor defensive play by Austin Carr.
Unbelievable as it may sound, my first Datsun had 150,000 miles on it before I ever relined the brakes. The car is durable, reliable, dependable, and I do believe that with a little care and maybe love and affection, the car may run forever.
Like all Datsuns, economical B210s make the savings last. Datsun saves.
Toro engineers go to Houston, Texas. 243 miles north is Dallas. Can this Toro Whirlwind mow the full distance with only routine maintenance? That's more mowing than you're likely to do in 5 years. Day after day, mile after mile, 243 miles later, Dallas. And Toro's durable Whirlwind is still going strong. Quality engineering is what makes a Toro a Toro. Haven't you done without a Toro long enough?
Next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern, the NBA showdown continues when CBS Sports presents thrilling playoff action. That's next Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.
Bingo Smith has been shut out.
And besides our coverage of that game next Friday night, don't forget the second game of our doubleheader today. Go down to Phoenix for Game 4 of the Western Conference Final between the Suns and the Golden State Warriors. In that game on Friday night, Phil Smith was held to 2 points in the first half, came back with 15 in the second as the Warriors pulled away, and we'll have highlights here on this contest. Plus, we're going to take a look at the NBA's Rookie of the Year. That will be announced here at halftime on CBS. Charlie Scott with a miss at the free throw line.
You talk about scoring in different particular quarters. It's incredible sometimes. It can drive the statisticians nuts. Charlie Scott had a super first quarter. That's the first point he scored in this quarter, the second quarter. Bingo Smith had a super first quarter, has been shut out completely the second quarter.
In fairness to both of them, Mindy, they spent a great deal of time on the bench, particularly Bingo Smith. So we are tied up, and we are down to 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the first half. The scoreboard has been tied 6 times so far. Bingo Smith with an inside pass to Thurman, takes it back, uses the screen. A lot more confidence demonstrated in Bingo Smith's shooting touch here in Game 2 than in Game 1, when he was held to 1 of 10 from the field. Now into a great pass to JoJo White.
That's the overmatch in the game right now is JoJo White against Footy Walker. JoJo White has a distinct height advantage, and he will take Footy Walker inside.
Cavaliers looking at the 7th tie as Brewer comes out from his wing spot. Wants to go against Silence. There's the hot man Smith, who's got Scott on him. Havlicek drops back to double team and pops back out on Austin Carr. And they have turned it over on the 3-second violation. Nate Thurman in there too long.
That's what happens, Ben. When players anticipate a shot will possibly go up through the board, one too many passes, one too many dribbles, and you're trapped in there for a 3-second call.
Clemens replaced Walker. Minute 45 on the clock. Here in the first half. It's dead even, 44 all. Silas takes it back from Collins. Cut off nicely by Brewer. Thurman gets back for the defensive board. Clemens on the 4. Smith watched by Havlicek. Nate Thurman again comes out high. A passing center right now. Setting screens and picks. Collins jumps out on Carr. At the top of the circle, bingo.
He can shoot, can he? He can really shoot the eyes out of the ball once he gets hot.
From just about any spot, too, maybe. He's on fire. Here is White. This is taken away by Clemens, battling to save, and it went out of bounds.
I got it over here.
Go back to the Celtics, and here is Fitch.
And Bill Fitch said to Manny Topher just then, I had a better shot at the play than you did. Why didn't you ask me? I'd have told you who knocked the ball out of bounds.
Our coverage of the Colonial Golf Tournament next week, Saturday and Sunday. Big day Saturday on CBS. Preakness, Colonial National will have NBA coverage on Sunday, the first Friday night. Havlicek outside. 46-44. Cavaliers lead by 2, 53 seconds to go. Bingo Smith came into Havlicek and traveled.
A lot of traveling in this game so far on both clubs.
The Celtics turned it over 3 or 4 times in that first quarter traveling. Moving inside of 40 seconds. Ball hit last by Bingo. You can watch the Celtics work against the game clock. Trailing by 2. They go for the tying basket. Shot clock now. Here's Scott outside. Bomber. Brewer. Lead pass to Austin Carr. Charlie Scott is there. Nate Thurman.
Oh, a bomb. Another bomb.
He thinks he's Bingo Smith. He was in disguise that time. Nate the Great put it up. What a 2 games he's played so far. Jimmy Jones out with a broken foot. Off the side of the glass. Bingo's got a man ahead of him. It's Jimmy Clemens. That's a buzzer. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, after trailing all the way in the first game of this series, battled back to tie it and then finally lost it in the fourth quarter. In this game, they trailed until midway through the second quarter. Then they slipped into the lead. They'll go into the locker room ahead 48-44.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Slow down, sis. Watch where you're going.
Sheriff, your new Johnson CB radio's coming in loud and clear.
I'm giving you one more warning, sis.
Johnson makes a very professional CB. Automatic speech compression, automatic noise limiting.
Remember, sis, be more careful. Let's get out of here.
Anything you say, Sheriff.
Keep in touch with the CB the professionals use. Johnson, the...
Me, I'd have told you who knocked the ball out of bounds.
Our coverage of the Colonial Golf Tournament next week, Saturday and Sunday. Big day Saturday on CBS. Preakness, Colonial National will have NBA coverage the following day on Sunday, the first Friday night. Havlicek outside. 46-44. Cavaliers lead by 2, 53 seconds to go. Bingo Smith came into Havlicek and traveled.
A lot of traveling in this game so far on both clubs.
The Celtics turned it over 3 or 4 times in that first quarter traveling. Moving inside of 40 seconds. Ball hit last by Bingo. You can watch the Celtics work against the game clock. Trailing by 2. They go for the tying basket. Shot clock now. Here's Scott outside. Bomber. Brewer. Lead pass to Austin Carr. Charlie Scott is there. Nate Thurman.
Oh, a bomb. Another bomb.
He thinks he's Bingo Smith. He was in disguise that time. Nate the Great put it up. What a 2 games he's played so far. Jimmy Jones out with a broken foot. Off the side of the glass. Bingo's got a man ahead of him. It's Jimmy Clemens. That's a buzzer. So the Cleveland Cavaliers, after trailing all the way in the first game of this series, battled back to tie it and then finally lost it in the fourth quarter. In this game, they trailed until midway through the second quarter. Then they slipped into the lead. They'll go into the locker room ahead 48-44.
You'll see the best in basketball when you watch
slow down, sis. Watch where you're going.
Sheriff, your new Johnson CB radio's coming in loud and clear.
I'm giving you one more warning, sis.
Johnson makes a very professional CB. Automatic speech compression, automatic noise limiting.
Remember, sis, be more careful. Let's get out of here.
Anything you say, Sheriff.
Keep in touch with the CB the professionals use. Johnson, the great American adventure.
10-4.
Oh, no, I've got athlete's foot.
Oh, my feet itch.
Darn it, I got athlete's foot again.
If you've got athlete's foot, don't blame Desinex, because Desinex contains the most widely used fungus killer to help stop athlete's foot fast. And Desinex every day helps keep it away. So from now on, if you get athlete's foot, it's your fault, not ours.
This is Captain Simon Gourdine, a decorated Vietnam veteran who served a year in Long Binh and Saigon. Here he is today, the Deputy Commissioner of the NBA.
I've been fortunate, but many Vietnam-era veterans have been unable to find work. If you need a job, education, or housing, VETS is an organization that can help you. The war has been largely forgotten, but you who served shouldn't be.
Sponsored by National League of Cities and U.S. Conference of Mayors. Today's NBA playoff game on CBS is sponsored by Datsun, America's #1 selling import for cars and trucks. Datsun saves. The Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by the STP Corporation, who brings you STP oil treatment and other fine products for your car.
Halftime at the Boston Garden with the Cleveland Cavaliers, trailing in the series 1-0, but leading here in the second game at the intermission, 48-44. You know, this year in the NBA, we've had a lot of outstanding rookies, but it should come as no surprise to anyone that the Rookie of the Year is Alvin Adams of the Phoenix Suns. Phyllis George journeyed down to Phoenix last week and took a look at the new superstar of the Suns.
To many Americans, thoughts of Phoenix, Arizona conjure up visions of desert buttes and tall cactus. Alvin Adams, the 6'9" center of the Phoenix Suns, came west from Oklahoma, and it didn't take him long to get comfortable to desert life or the NBA. Alvin Adams, how do you feel as being named Rookie of the Year?
Well, I think as evidenced by the past people that have won the honor, it's one of the great honors, especially for the rookie. I don't know how the list reads, but I think all the past winners have gone on to bigger and better things, and it's a great honor, and I'm very happy to receive it. And there were so many other fine rookies during the year. John Schumann, who was on our team early, and Ricky Sobers were two excellent ones for our team, and all around the league, I think they were just excellent rookies.
Now, you play against some of the biggest guys in the league. Does that intimidate you at all?
I think about it a lot before the game, but once the opening tip-off is there, it all goes away. The first 2 or 3 times I played each one of those guys, Jabbar, Cowens, and the heavy guys, Lanier and Unseld. The couple days before the game, I was really conscious about that and how I was going to be able to be effective at all against them. But I'm quicker than those guys, and I think I'm a better passer, and there's different attributes both ways, and I have to make mine pay off, my special ones.
John McLeod is considered one of the quiet men in NBA coaching, yet his patience and faith in his players may be one of the big reasons behind the success of Alvin Adams and the Phoenix Suns this season.
He's given us another dimension that we haven't had as far as the center is concerned. Dennis Autry was a valuable player for us last year. Dennis is a very good passer. Alvin is the type of player that can hit the open man as well as Dennis. He has great speed, great quickness. A very unselfish player.
You have already become a legend in your own time, whether you know it or not. You have a terrific appetite. You just love food so much?
Well, for instance, before Wednesday's game, Paul and I went to a place he said was famous in California, Foster's Freeze or something like that. And I think between us, Paul's a big eater when he wants to be, and between us, this was our pregame meal. We had a chili hamburger, a double cheeseburger, 4 burritos, like 2 orders of French fries, chocolate banana shake, tacos, and an ice cream cone to top it off. And I think that's a little extreme before a game, but we were kind of hungry.
Although he's been named the NBA's NBA's Rookie of the Year, Alvin Adams is hardly a household word in pro basketball. If anything, he seems to symbolize the new breed of young players in the NBA, unselfish and team-oriented. And he's also one of the biggest reasons why Phoenix, the smallest city in the NBA, has suddenly gone mad over pro basketball. This is Phyllis George in the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix, Arizona.
Down in Phoenix, Commissioner Larry O'Brien is on hand for that game, and at halftime, he will present Alvin Adams with the trophy for being honored as the outstanding rookie of the NBA. And, of course, CBS will be covering that game right after this contest. We'll be going down to Phoenix for our coverage of the Golden State Warriors against the Phoenix Suns.
The NBA playoffs on CBS will continue after this word from your local station. America's prettiest girls compete in the Miss USA beauty pageant with special guest Engelbert Humperdinck, Saturday night on CBS.
What kind of a car are you looking for?
One that'll last.
You ask for it. The Toyota Corollas. Pick from 2 doors, 4 doors, 5-door wagons. Whatever model you choose will have a solid welded body built to last. One of the reasons 9 out of 10 Toyota cars ever sold in America are still on the road. If you can find a better built small car than Toyota, buy it. Quality.
You ask for it, you got it, Toyota.
One beautiful experience deserves another beautiful experience. An A&C Grenadier. It's one beautiful smoking experience. Long, slender, rich tasting, genuinely satisfying. A&C Grenadiers from Antonio y Cleopatra in a light or dark natural wrapper. One beautiful smoking experience.
Channel 2, New York.
Halftime at the Boston Garden with the Cleveland Cavaliers leading the Boston Celtics 48-44. Sonny Hill, we've talked a lot about the Phoenix Suns and the Golden State Warriors. You've been down covering that series.
The Phoenix Suns are a ball club that have come on very strong in the latter part of the season. But in the particular ball game that I saw Friday, they had ball handling problems. In fact, they turned the ball over 6 straight times at a crucial stage in the ball game in the third quarter, and that's when they lost the ball game.
They tried to pressure that pass inside, and the Warriors clogged up that middle.
That's it. Al Adams stacked the middle, and they like to run a lot of plays down low to Gar Hurd and Curtis Perry, and that's what happened in that particular ball game. Game 2, they got off very strong with great outside shooting by Paul Westphal. Westphal, again, who was a very strong offensive ball player in that first game. Notice how he'll come off the screen, and Westy is one of the outstanding jump shooters, also one of the more exciting basketball players in the game today. And here you see Westy again passing the ball. Not only can he shoot, but he drops off a nice pass to Curtis Perry inside. I want you to watch the way Rick Barry comes off of this pick because he's a premier jump shooter, but he gets set up so well, and he dropped one in right there. Westphal again. That's a pass inside to Curtis Perry, and Perry lays the ball in. That's good inside play where the Phoenix Suns like to get the ball. Strong rebounding by Gar Hurd. He steals the play, comes up with a slam dunk. And that was the way that the Phoenix Suns won that ball game, Game 2. Now, Game 3, Phil Smith was not a very strong ball player early in the ball game, but in the third quarter, he came on very strong with drives like this. Jamal Wilkes, one of the real study performers in basketball. Now I want you to notice the hustle and the aggressive play of Jamal Wilkes. He goes up, misses it, and he's right back for a key tap in, and that's what makes him such an outstanding basketball player. Here's good movement. As a steal on the part of Paul Westphal, and Westphal's also one of the exciting players in the game. Whenever he gets away on a fast break, you can bet he's going to slam dunk it. Here's Adams with a tremendous follow-up, and that's good quickness on his part. Hustle again. Drop-off pass. Here's good hustle by Clifford Ray as he goes in for an easy layup, but that's team hustle that time. Here's a pass just thrown away. Gar Hurd steals it. Little high dribble that time, but he goes in for a slam dunk, but not enough of those plays. Gus Williams to C.J. Charlie Johnson. And Charlie got off to a very fast start in the first quarter in that ball game, which gave the Golden State Warriors a real key lift.
Did you find out for me and everyone watching what it is that John Havlicek takes? What an amazing performer. He was the whole offense in the second quarter here in this game.
I thought that you and Mendy really talked very well about the fact that when things are not going well, you go to the master. And I was joking about the Havlicek run, which I wanted to come in and demonstrate before I sat down. But Havlicek truly is a legend and is deserving of that because he's a fantastic competitor and a fantastic basketball player.
Yeah, the next time you go to an NBA arena and you have a chance to see the Boston Celtics, get there just a little bit early and watch John Havlicek warm up, even before the game. He's always in perpetual motion.
Before I get away, I must give you this run, the Havlicek. That's the Havlicek. I told him I was going to try to make it famous for him.
All right, the Boston Celtics are back here warming up prior to the start of the second half, and there is John Havlicek, number 17. What an amazing performer. His 14th year in the NBA, and now some highlights.
And who do we have right off the top? Hondo, John Havlicek with a great pass off to Cowens after penetrating the middle. And here's Silas with a key defensive play. And notice how he kicks the ball out to Charlie Scott, and Scott's in for an easy one. Bingo Smith was the man that got him off early in the ball game as he dropped in 5 field goals in the first quarter, many of them just like that. Here's strong rebounding. Silas kicks the ball out, and this is the famous fast break of the Celtics. I'm going to let it talk for itself. If that's not basketball, I don't know the name of the game. Inside, Lambert, Cowens takes him down low. Great hustle by Footy Walker, who came in and did the most important thing I thought in the game for the Cavaliers, changed the tempo. And when they're able to beat the Celtics defense down the floor, that's when they're a very effective basketball team. And the bench did a good job. Austin Carr and that man shooting the ball, Campy Russell. There he is, one of the real good human beings also, besides being a fantastic player, Hondo Havlicek.
All right, 48, 44. You know, a lot of coaches have been fired in the NBA. I want to come back and report on that in just a moment.
You know, here at Marvel, I've got Spider-Man and all these characters and supervillains like Dr. Doom to worry about. I can't waste time worrying about things like shaving. This guy calls me and he says, try a Persona Double 2. And I said, okay, I'll try it. This Persona is beautifully designed. Twin blades on each side. It's clean. It's got quality. Like they told me. There's no finer shaving system made. I may create a whole new character. Persona Man.
How does it feel like a Mustang too? How does it feel like a Mustang too? How does it feel like you're some kind of hero? Star Mustang 2, born of hero.
Mustang 2s give you rack and pinion steering, 4 on the floor, tachometer, and front disc brakes standard. How many other domestic cars in its class give you all this? 0. See your local Ford dealer. The closer you look, the better we look.
Get that rhythm. Get that rhythm. Get ready. Shoot the ball. That's my man.
Okay, get that rhythm down, Dave. Get that rhythm down. Get ready. Shoot that ball.
Elvin Hayes and the NBA are volunteers for Special Olympics.
That's my man.
You can help a special athlete, too. Write Special Olympics, Washington, D.C.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service on behalf of the National Basketball Association.
There have been unprecedented coaching shakeups in the NBA since the start of the season. 5 out: Ray Scott at Detroit, Cotton Fitzsimmons, Atlanta, Johnny Egan, Houston, Jack Ramsey, Buffalo, and now K.C. Jones, Washington. I had a chance, Mindy, last week to stop by Los Angeles and talk to Pete Newell, the general manager out there, and he says that Jack Kent Cook alone will decide the future fate of Bill Sharman, who has been the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. But Pete wanted me to emphasize one thing, and that is the fact that Jack and Sharman are very close friends, and if Jack decides to make a change with the head coach of the Lakers, he will help Sharman find another job. As for the Washington situation, I have been told that Kevin Lockery, the head coach of the New York Nets of the ABA, is the key man in that situation, that he is fully expected to become the next head coach of the Bullets and replace K.C. Jones. As for Chicago and Dick...
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service on behalf of the National Basketball Association.
There have been unprecedented coaching shakeups in the NBA. Since the start of the season, 5 out. Ray Scott at Detroit, Cotton Fitzsimmons, Atlanta, Johnny Egan, Houston, Jack Ramsey, Buffalo, and now K.C. Jones, Washington. I had a chance, Mindy, last week to stop by Los Angeles and talk to Pete Newell, the general manager out there, and he says that Jack Kent Cook alone will decide the future fate of Bill Sharman, who has been the coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. But Pete wanted me to emphasize one thing, and that is the fact that Jack and Sharman are very close friends, and if Jack decides to make a change with the head coach of the Lakers, he will help Sharman find another job. As for the Washington situation, I have been told that Kevin Lockery, the head coach of the New York Nets of the ABA, is the key man in that situation, that he is fully expected to become the next head coach of the Bullets and replace K.C. Jones. As for Chicago and Dick Motta, I have heard that Motta probably will be back. He is still under contract as we start the second half. And right away, Mindy, what happened?
We have a backcourt foul against Dave Cowens. And Nate Thurman will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. I spoke to both coaches at halftime, Brent. Tommy Heinsohn is totally displeased with the way his Celtics are playing. He thinks they're out here for a vacation. He shook them up at halftime. And you can take a look at the statistics, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Boston shooting 43%. Cleveland 55%. The turnovers very high for both clubs, 11 and 10. Heinsohn said that these guys are just standing around out here and they've got to catch fire. On the other hand, Bill Fitch said, as he said to me earlier, that if his team can contain Paul Silas and Cowens on the offensive boards, they will beat Boston.
Snyder was fouled as he began his assault on the hoop. And before the shot, it was JoJo White.
We take a look at the bench scoring, Brent. 15 off the Cleveland bench and 5 from the Boston bench. Big difference. Early minutes of the third quarter could determine the outcome of this game.
5-point Cavalier lead. Brewer with the ball on the floor, pull-up jump shot wide open. And suddenly it is 51 to 44. Just underway in the second half from the Boston Garden. Pass it last. No, was not touched by Clemens. Even though the Celtics were claiming that they faked me.
I think she's a little bored with what's happening out here.
Here's Smith. Was sensational in the first half for the Cavaliers. Snyder back in the game at guard along with Clemens. Brewer, Thurman, and Bingo Smith. And on the steal, JoJo White got in front of Clemens, intercepted it. Missed the layup. Rolled back in and came out trying to draw the foul from Clemens and missed his layup. 51-44. Thurman taking against Silas. Knocks it back. Snyder jumps in front of Scott. Ball went out of bounds. Cavaliers are screaming that it's their ball.
Carl Garrison did not see the out-of-bounds play. Manny Sokol did. Garrison looked to Sokol for help. He gave it to him. Of course, Cleveland doesn't like the decision. But an out-of-bounds ball is an out-of-bounds ball. And the Celtics got to get something going here, or else they're going to find this series tied up.
Inside to Cowens. Into the lane. Jump hook. Five-point Cavalier lead. Celtics pressuring the ball. Clemens goes underneath and takes JoJo with him. And there was contact that time away from the ball. Charlie Scott. His second foul. To the side, Snyder waits. Brewer pops out, and here's Bingo Smith at the top of the circle. Clemens puts a move on White. Scott jumps out on the switch. Now JoJo White's fronting Thurman, a mismatch inside. Nate wants the ball. Scott shading back. Cowens ready to cheat. Silas comes over, but Thurman gets it anyway.
They finally got it to him. Paul Silas tried to help out. Couldn't get to him fast enough. Good thinking by the Cleveland team. Very intelligent ball handler.
JoJo White goes the distance.
Is that incredible? There's the shot he makes, completely off balance, completely away from the basket. Then he goes in for an unmolested layup before and blows it. Incredible inconsistency in NBA basketball.
Bingo Smith to Thurman, who again is out far from the basket. Into the corner to Snyder. Nate again. Oh, look at Nate Thurman. That's the second time he's hit a bomber. Cowens will have to go out there with him.
He'll have to pick up Nate Thurman.
You believe
as long
Nate
as he has
Thurman?
the confidence, he'll do it.
Got back to Havlicek. Charlie Scott came over and picked off Bingo Smith. And an offensive foul.
Now here's a mismatch with Thurman and JoJo White. Thurman looking for the ball, desperate looking for the ball. Snyder has it now. He's still looking for Thurman. There comes the pass. There comes the pickup by Silas. Easy field goal by Thurman. Good ball handling.
Cavaliers with a 7-point lead and 9:17 to go in the third. Snyder screens. Scott goes with Brewer. Brewer to the corner and Bingo Smith. Front of the eye. Thurman saves it. Second chance opportunity here for the Cavs. Thurman's wheels to Brewer. Here's Bingo again. Oh, he'll take his shots. Maurice Silas. Don't forget after this game, it'll be Phoenix Golden State. Game 4 of the Western Conference Final. Scott runs into Bingo Smith and fouled him. Offense, they're coming the other way.
I think Bingo Smith got a little shaken up on that play. There will be a timeout.
No, we've got 4 fouls against Charlie Scott. 2 here quickly in the third quarter. Bingo Smith walks back over to the Cavs bench. It's 55-48.
You fly a lot closer to the crops than to the clouds. But when those last acres are dusted, you know it's Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find.
It's time to relax.
America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
Miller stands clear, beer after beer. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller beer.
Hello, I'm O.J. Simpson. You know, to be a superstar, you've got to perform day in and day out. No letdown, I know. That's why Hertz has a performance standard to cover every little detail, from the moment you phone till you drop off your car, to help make sure that when you walk up to that counter, your reservation's gonna be there, and to get you away fast in a clean, good-running car. So rent a Ford from Hertz. See why they're the superstar in rent-a-car.
Next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports will present the 101st running of the Preakness from Pimlico, featuring bold Forbes and honest pleasure racing for the middle jewel of the Triple Crown. That's the Preakness, next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Mindy, looking ahead in this quarter already, Boston has 3 team fouls and Cleveland none. That certainly could become a factor when they start to shoot some free throws. Bill Fitch was just diagramming a play over there. Wants to work a clear outside and set up a play, get a little one-on-one. We'll see what happens. Here is Snyder coming back quickly, and Cowens was there. The Celtics with all-out pressure right now. They trail at 55-48. We've got 8:35 to go. Here's Clement setting the play that Fitch was diagramming, trying to get him to rotate over to one side. It's all cleared out. Here is Brewer. Clement is all alone now. He pops out, and Bingo Smith comes over. Brewer will take it at the buzzer. Silas out-dueled Nate Thurman, kept it in play. Celtics back, Cowens inside. Brewer on the defense, Cowens again. Brewer with tremendous hustle, and Silas kept the ball in play against him.
There's only 5 Silas can do it on the offensive boards. Brewer should not really worry about scoring so much in this game, or possibly just keep Silas off those boards. That's what he's got to do.
Snyder with a turnaround up over Stakem, using the glass so well. Knocking the ball away from JoJo White. Tenacious Cleveland Cavaliers battling here as they trail in the Eastern Conference Final by a game. And here they come again, 3-on-1. Clemens, Brewer, Snyder. Clemens to the hoop on Silas.
Good play by Jim Brewer, anticipating the dribble, just knowing exactly the cadence in which Silas was handling the ball, stuck the fingers out just at the right time.
Cavaliers up by 9 points. Stakem was wide open, had the ball batted away. This is the turnaround. Again, it's Silas, and Brewer cleared it out. Fans here want goaltending, and Heinsohn is furious. He can't believe goaltending wasn't called. He said the ball had not cleared the rim. 59-50. White at the perimeter makes it 59-52, and now it's 7. Full-court pressure from the Celtics. Snyder on the drive, comes underneath with the layup.
Oh, yeah, he flew by Stakem and he flew by Havlicek. Great body control by Dick Snyder.
Cavaliers are getting it the way they want it right now, Mindy. Here is Stakem. Havlicek dueling Clemens, and John Havlicek called a timeout.
I think there's a reason why he possibly called that timeout, Brent. I suspect that Havlicek twisted his leg, and he may not be 100% out there. He limped over to that bench, and we'll have to watch this.
Which of these Chevy pickups is driving down a railroad track and which is riding on a gravel road? It isn't easy to tell because of Chevy's tough rear leaf springs, counter-angle rear shocks, and massive girder beam front suspension with coil springs. Smooth riding Chevy trucks. There are more on the road than any other make. Your money's worth mile after mile.
Hi. I don't drive that way out on the streets, and please don't you either. You know the old gray ghost here? Well, inside she runs like a top. That's why the folks at STP hired me, because they know I take good care of my own cars, including my new family wagon here, and I use STP oil treatment in all of them. They want me to tell you why? I'll tell you why. On account of it works. And that's the name of that tune.
Now comes Miller time. You're so good you can play the blues even when you ain't sad. And now it's time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer.
If you've got the time, we've got the beer. Miller Beer.
Smith Havlicek looks on. John has come back. Dr. Silva took a look at that left leg. You were right, Mindy. He twisted it. It was the only reason why he called timeout in that situation. Of course, he's playing with an injured left foot.
That's the same leg, Brent. The same leg as you heard earlier in the season.
Here's JoJo White against Snyder. It's 61-52. Cavaliers over the Celtics. White threw it up. Air ball. Clemens with control. White back with pressure. And Clemens comes up. At 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Cavaliers patiently setting up a play. Shot clock winding down. It'll become a factor here. Collins jumps out and harasses Snyder and got it. That's his fourth.
And that puts the Celtics into foul trouble. As a team, they have 4 team fouls. Every foul from here on in, penalty situation.
Smith waits. Brewer comes far out. Side to Thurman. There is Snyder. Cavaliers having some difficulty getting a man open for a shot. Shot clock goes down. Silas has Clemens. Clemens throws one up. You can hear the buzzer. They used it all that time. Clemens goes down. No foul. White, the perimeter.
And how desperately the Celtics needed that field goal. And it's been all JoJo White and Collins this quarter for the Celtics. They're the only Celtics to have scored.
Cavaliers seem content right now to be very patient. Bingo. Silas clears. 61-54. Lead pass to Stakem. Back to Silas on the roll. He came up over the top of Bingo. He's got it.
Oh, I don't like that call.
Drew the foul, and the Cavaliers wanted an offensive charge.
I thought Bingo Smith had excellent defensive position on that play, and Silas just challenged him and went right over him. Now let's watch it. Watch Bingo Smith, the lefty of the screen, perfectly still, and there's the play. Silas forcing the field goal, forcing the shot, and there's no more that Bingo Smith could have done and played defense the way he did. A very, very big play at this point in the game.
Smith goes out to take a break. Campy Russell up. Silas adds the free throw. Pitch talking to Bingo. Now, it is 61-57, a 4-point Cavalier lead. The crowd trying to urge the Celtics on. Collins got a hand on it and picked up a foul. That's his 5th foul. We've got 5:11 to go in the 3rd.
Let's watch Collins now as he reaches out. This is a very cheap foul, something that Dave Collins should not do. He's a smarter ball player than that, but that's Collins. That's the way he plays basketball.
That's a couple of cheap fouls on him as he goes out. Back to back. Jimmy Ard. Collins will sit out probably the rest of the 3rd quarter and get back into action in the 4th. With 5 fouls, I would say that Dave Collins plays better than anyone in the league. He will still play all out, as Mindy Rudolph has pointed out all season long. But the man to watch right now is Jimmy Ard to see what kind of performance he will turn in. It's 62-57. The Celtics without Collins, 5 minutes in the 3rd quarter, go to work. Stakem, White, Silas, Ard, and Havlicek. And Thurman hit Jimmy Ard. That's his 5th foul, I believe. It is.
That's the same play that Garrison called against Collins. He just came back and called the same play against Thurman. Consistent officiating at this point.
John Lambert checks in, and Nate Thurman goes out.
And now we have an equalizer. Thurman on the bench, Collins on the bench.
So the key matchup could be Ard against Lambert. With a 5-point Cleveland lead and 4:55 to go in the 3rd quarter. JoJo White. Lambert got a piece of it. Here come the Cavaliers. Campy Russell working with Clemens, Snyder, Brewer, and Lambert. Snyder at the right baseline. Ard jumps over on the double team. They get it back outside to Russell, who got inside at JoJo White. Lambert at the offensive board. Silas, though, takes it and gives it off to White. Here come the Celtics. Inside, good defense, Clemens. Stakem loses it, but White was right there. And JoJo hits outside.
You're right. He did lose it, but JoJo happened to be in the right spot at the right time to stop the turnover.
Now it's a 3-point lead by the Cavaliers, who trail in the series 1-0. Action moves back to Cleveland next week. Jimmy Brewer on the drive, off inside to Lambert.
And that's what happens when you penetrate, Trent. You bring everybody to you, leaving an open man.
Great defense by Campy Russell. Saves it. Here's Jimmy Clemens with control. Up his foot. Back to the Celtics. Don Nelson is checked in. Here's JoJo White. Drives that baseline. 64-61. A 3-point Cavalier lead. Heinsohn wants pressure on the ball. They're going to have a timeout at the Cleveland end, Mindy. Heinsohn wants more heat right now.
Now the tempo of this game has picked up. Since Dave Collins went to the bench, and since Thurman went to the bench, everybody seems to be playing at a faster pace.
And we've got 3:35 to go in the 3rd quarter.
A good electric pre-shave is very important to me, but I never had much choice until now. Menon's got a new one. Skin Bracer Pre-Electric. It really props those hairs up so I can chop them off close. Feels good, smells good. I get a great electric shave. Then I top it off with my Skin Bracer aftershave. I love that cold slap in the face. Thanks. I needed that.
That's yours, our little chop back?
That's 10-4, Big Trucker.
Look at those wide tire slot wheels and rally straps. Must have cost you some.
Negative 18-wheeler. With all those X features, my Gremlin X was only $29.98.
Looks like fun to drive. Want to trade?
Don't think you can handle it, 18-wheeler.
For a limited time, get slot wheels, wide tires, and stripes. $189 value at no extra charge.
How do you spell relief?
When I get acid indigestion, I spell relief R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
For heartburn, R-O-L-A-I-D-S. Rolaids spells relief. In this test with Rolaids active ingredient, laboratory acid changes color to prove Rolaids consumes 47 times its weight in excess stomach acid. How do you spell relief?
For gas, I spell it R-O-L-A-I-D-S.
Rolaids spells relief, fast relief.
Mindy, I just received word that jockey Braulio Baeza has been released from a hospital. Suffered a sprained shoulder in a fall yesterday at Belmont, but he will be able to ride on his pleasure in the Preakness on Saturday. And, of course, you will see our coverage here on CBS Saturday afternoon. Also, the Colonial National Golf Tournament. Then on Sunday, back with the NBA. Don't forget after this game, Phoenix Golden State. Next Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. An ambitious sports schedule here on CBS for the next 7 days. Cavaliers lead at 64-61 and 3:30 to go in the third quarter. Dave Cowens and Nate Thurman, both on the bench with 5 fouls. Anthony Russell traveled. Took an extra little step. It was a very effective step. It sent Silas to the floor.
He took an extra 2 steps.
Silas thought we can dance a little bit here.
And as Silas does so well, he's leading the game in rebounding right now, Brent, with 13.
Contact away from the ball. John Lambert was in there, and he was dueling against Ard. So Snyder brings it up. Again, that patient Cavalier attack, keeping it slowed down, not letting the Celtics run. Snyder with his perimeter jumper. 66-61, and so it's 5 and 2:54. Cavaliers have been tough on defense. Lambert fronting hard. White's cut off, can't go all the way. Stakem with a miss. Stakem, second chance Celtics. Something the Cavaliers cannot give them, but the Celts turn it over.
And I'll tell you, that's a battle inside between Jimmy Ard and Lambert, 34 and 24.
Hold on. I thought sure that ball was going to the Cavaliers.
Oh, it was. It was a deflected off the Celtics.
I thought Jimmy Ard hit it.
He certainly did. And Cleveland is really upset at this. Bill Fitch is trying to get somebody's attention.
I didn't think there was any question about that. I looked down and Don Nelson had the ball. Well, here are the Celtics. Jimmy Ard. Lambert with a hand on him. Ard turnaround. Battle of the boards, and Silas is right there. Tries to hit Nelson. Snyder got his head in the way. Shot clock down toward 10. On the move was JoJo White. He drew the foul coming across the lane. Don Dick Snyder as Havlicek checks back in. Foots Walker just reported back in, too, a few moments ago for the Cavaliers. You may have seen number 14. So that's the first foul against Snyder. And he was not pleased with the call, and Bill Fish has not been happy with some of the officiating here the last couple of minutes. 66-61 as Cavaliers lead it, and 2:24 to go in the third.
And JoJo White has had himself some third quarter here, Brent. He's had 10 points going into this point, possibly 12, and without him, the Celtics would be in big trouble right now. They're still close, still in striking distance.
In the alignment that Tommy Heinsohn now has out on the court, John Havlicek will be working at guard, along with JoJo White. Nelson harassing Brewer, and we've got a foul called against him in the backcourt.
Now, Don Nelson, who wants to possibly become an NBA official, will be hearing from the likes of a Tommy Heinsohn or a Bill Fitch if he does make it. Now, he had that call called against him, and there's the body contact. Let's watch it. Nelson sticking his belly out in the backcourt. That's a very, very tough play.
Mindy, you've been talking a lot about Paul Silas at the offensive boards. Second chance points in this game. Boston 8 and Cleveland none. So without those second chance points right now, the Celtics would be in serious trouble. Cleveland, on the other hand, has been unable to convert any offensive rebounds, and they haven't had all that many. Got a penalty shot because the Celtics already had picked up 5 penalties in the third quarter. Cleveland just 3, and we've got 2:19 to play. He adds the penalty, so it's 68-63, a 5-point Cavalier lead. Havlicek trying to get some movement going. Snyder staying right with him. JoJo White comes around, lays it up. Jimmy Ard was in there. The battle of the boards. Finally, Brewer lead pass to Foots Walker. Silas rotates back. Lambert comes down. Nelson and Ard are there. Good Celtic defensive work. Snyder off to Lambert, who touched it out of bounds.
Let's watch Jimmy Ard now. He's number 34. Now watch how he goes up over the top, just battling those boards. Ball just spins right out on him, but he doesn't give up. He's battling again. And that's what they have to do to take Cowens, who was sitting on the bench.
And we just had a technical foul called against Tommy Heinsohn. Darryl Garrettson assessed him with the tee. Snyder will shoot the free throw with 1:53 to go in the third, and a 68-63 and make it 69-63. Cavaliers ahead of the Celtics. Tuesday night, game 3 of this series. Back in Cleveland. Silas with the ball on the floor, just simply lost control of it.
Another turnover by the Celtics. They are not handling the ball like we've seen them in the past weeks. They look a little bit rusty, and they shouldn't be. I think it's all mental with them at this point.
Cavaliers can increase that lead to 8, playing this series without their starting center, Jimmy Jones, who's out with a broken foot. Puts Walker. Motors inside. Gives off to Lambert. Off the iron. Back now to Lambert. Puts it down. Gives it off and gets it back.
Somebody's got to shoot that ball.
Somebody's got to throw it up. Great ball movement, and finally they went outside with it, and Russell put it in. 71-63. 1:10 to go in the third. No shot, no shot. It's on Walker. You mentioned turnovers, Mendy. The Celtics have turned it over 7 times here in the third quarter. Inside to Ard. In against Lambert. And Lambert picked it up.
There's a battle going on inside between Jimmy Ard and Lambert. I'll tell you, they are really battling for position that time. And the last play, Lambert just pushed Jimmy Ard a little too much. Ard will go to the free throw line for 2 shots. There's a lot of weight being thrown around downstairs.
Becomes such a critical matchup with the starting centers out. Nate Thurman's performance so far in a game in 3 quarters has been absolutely amazing. There were a lot of basketball men who thought that Nate was washed up after he came to Chicago and played for the Bulls last year after such a long and great career out on the West Coast, San Francisco and Golden State. Came over to Cleveland, gave the Cavaliers some inspirational leadership, and then suddenly he found himself in the starting lineup because of the injury to Jimmy Jones.
I'll tell you something, Brent. John Havlicek is playing hurt. John Havlicek is not 100%. He's limping out in the court, and I don't know how long he can last in this game.
Picked it off, lead pass, JoJo White, who gets in through Brewer and drew the foul. And White is down. He took a jolt as he came through.
Let's watch this film. Let's wait. Keep an eye on JoJo now. Just a little body on the backside, and JoJo takes a good spill, but a good fall. Broke the fall with his arm, and is really not hurt. I am thankful to say he has had a tremendous third quarter here, Brent.
That's the second personal against Brewer as Bingo Smith checks back into the game, and Brewer goes over to the bench. One of the many great athletes in the NBA. JoJo White was an outstanding baseball and football player. As a matter of fact, the Cincinnati Reds wanted to sign him as an infielder. The Dallas Cowboys wanted him as a defensive back. And instead, the Celtics got him as a backcourt man. And he works alongside Charlie Scott, who was just checked back into the lineup.
2 for 1 now. 2 for 1.
A lot of teams passed up JoJo White the year he came out of Kansas. They thought he was going to have to serve a couple of years in the Army. Got into a National Guard unit here in Boston. I don't know, I think Fred Auerbach was probably a major in that guard unit. Puts Walker with a finger in his eye. He gives up the ball, but he has been hurt. Here's Campy Russell. Havlicek was watching him, and there's a 3-second violation. Turnover against the Cavaliers. 71-66. It's a 5-point Cavalier lead.
There's an injury timeout here. Injury timeout that was called by local. We talked about the injury to Footy Walker's eye, and that's what's happening out here. They're going to take a look at it.
I want to ask you something about that because he was injured. He gave up the ball and he went over the corner. Shouldn't he have then asked for that injury? I mean, they were going 4-on-5. He should have taken the break right then.
Either he or one of his teammates should have asked for the injury timeout. The officials cannot call an injury timeout. It must be a request by one of the 5 players on the court who have the ball.
All right, the last 15 seconds of the third quarter. Walker goes out. Clemens and Snyder and Bill Fitch's backcourt. Havlicek waits for Scott. Scott there. Bingo Smith on the double team with good defensive work. Loose ball control by the Cavaliers. It's Campy Russell. Clemens, and it's stolen by Scott, who anticipated the pass at the buzzer. He's got it. Key play for the Boston Celtics.
I've got to say that shot was not off in time. In my opinion, the horn had blown, although he was in the air. Let's take a look at it. Watch the clock, the bottom of your screen. Ball's not on. 0-0. Field goal should not have counted.
No question about it. A very bad call here.
You see the best in basketball when you watch the NBA. When you watch the NBA on CBS.
Sears National Automotive Sale. Now on sale, Sears Steel Guardsman radial tires with the toughness of 2 steel belts. Get Sears Steel Guardsman radials now and save 25%. And if you need new shocks, ride on into Sears. Sears heavy-duty shocks are on sale now. Just $5.97 each. You save over 30%. Only at Sears.
Your pet deserves special care. Take him to your veterinarian at least once a year for a checkup and booster shots.
For the past 12 years, we've been doing punishing things like this to Ford pickups to show you on television how tough Fords are built. But what are the facts in real everyday year in and year out usage? Well, according to RL Book registrations, 93 out of 100 of all Ford trucks registered since '64 are still on the job. That doesn't prove how long the 76s will last, but that's the kind of toughness we build into every Ford truck. 93 out of 100 of all Ford trucks registered since '64 are still on the job.
Here's that call we talked about at the end of the quarter, Brent. 0-0 on the clock, as you see on the screen. Charlie Scott still with the ball in his hands. In fact, he hadn't even left the floor yet, and the officials calling it a good field goal.
May I say that proves they need a third official in the NBA? Gerritsen is watching what he has to at that moment as Scott goes up, whether or not he's going to be fouled. If a third man in this league was standing over there at the table, he could watch the clock and that shot.
And the horn was right on time, too, I might add, Brent. The horn went off. I could hear the horn sitting right here. That's why that third official is so important,
absolutely,
as you mentioned earlier.
71-68, and here's Paul Silas. Brewer comes out on him. The last 12 minutes. Nate Thurman back on the floor, but not Collins. Scott outside. He just hit his first basket of the third quarter, a highly questionable one, which you saw, and he has come right out here in the fourth quarter firing. It's 71-70. Cavaliers now at the break point of this Eastern Conference Final. They must do it in this game. Austin Carr in and out. Down comes Jimmy Yard. They have come face to face with the Boston Celtics, and we'll see what they've got. Here is Jimmy Yard. Off now to JoJo White. In and out. Brewer at the boards. Clemens with the ball on the floor. They bring it up. They were extremely patient in the third quarter. They certainly got the worst of some very questionable calls. 3 that I can recall. An offensive foul, what looked like was a foul assessed to Bingo Smith, an out-of-bounds play, and a shot at the buzzer. So from adversity, the Cavaliers have come on. Silas off to JoJo White on the near side. Cross court to Charlie Scott. Drives that lane. Off the top, comes down. Jimmy Yard at the offensive board. Bingo Smith is there. Nate Thurman off. Brown wants a foul. 10 minutes and 30 seconds to go. Cavaliers ahead by a single point. Bingo Smith back to Nate Thurman. Thurman waiting for someone to pop out. Brewer never did. Now to give it back to Carr, who drives the lane. It's a 3-point Cavalier lead.
Some of our fans might want to wonder about a protest at the end of the game on that possible controversial call at the end of the third quarter. That is certainly a judgment call by the officials. Unless you get it in the fourth quarter, Brent, at the end of a ball game, when you possibly could have a protest, which could affect the outcome of the game.
Bombs away again. Good defense from Clemens, just superior shooting from one Charlie Scott. And it's 73-72, Mindy, a 1-point lead right now. Ingo Smith patiently waiting for something to develop. Cavaliers are using the time, winding down toward 5. Here's Clemens. Hard pops out on him. Thurman has Scott inside. They must hurry. They're not going to get it off. They have turned it over because they have used up too much time. Fitch unhappy.
And that's what you get when you don't talk out there on offense. Somebody out there has got to say, put it up, put it up. They can't run that clock down consistently the way they've been doing and try and get good shots.
Celtics with a chance to move back into the lead. Right from the left corner, Austin Carr with control for the Cavaliers. He's working in the backcourt with Clemens. Side pass out of bounds. Thurman had cut for the hoop.
And as they come up court, Austin Carr said, don't worry, Big Nate, my fault. And Collins will be coming back into this game to go head-to-head against Thurman, both with 5 fouls, as you mentioned.
Dave Collins will come on here as soon as they get a break, too, Mindy, as Jimmy Ard will be leaving. Here's Havlicek. Celtics ahead. 8 minutes and 53 seconds. It's 74-73. Bill Fitch has called timeout. The crowd on its feet at the Boston Garden. Dave Collins ready to check back into this basketball game. Remember, he'll have 5 fouls. 8 minutes and 49 seconds to play.
You know what kind of parts I put in my VW? Motorcraft from Ford. Wow, there's some tough parts. Remember those taxi test commercials? They put Motorcraft batteries, shocks, oil filters, tune-up parts in 150 taxis. After 3 million miles, less than 1% of the parts couldn't take it. Tough enough for taxis, tough enough for me. Oh.
Ask for Motorcraft where you buy parts or service your car. They're tested tough.
Roundup. It's a nice word for long days sitting in a hard saddle and long nights sleeping on the hard ground. But now comes Miller time, and those are beautiful words for the time when you head for the best tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Life.
If you got the time, we got the beer, Miller Beer.
This Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, CBS Sports will present an exciting NBA semifinal playoff contest. That's Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
Here in the Boston Garden, while Dave Cowens was on the bench, the Celtics picked up 6 points on the Cleveland Cavaliers. And with 8 minutes and 49 seconds to play, Cowens back. It's 74-73, the Celtics ahead. Now, Mindy, I would imagine that they're going to challenge Cowens right away, but keep in mind that Thurman also is playing with 5 fouls, but Dave Cowens knows only one way to play basketball.
He will play all out, and I'd be very surprised if he does not foul out of this game. But with him sitting on his bench, as you mentioned, it didn't hurt the Celtic club. They took the lead. When he left, they were behind.
See if they go right at him off the top. Here is Austin Carr. Thurman screening. Cowens backing off. He comes over, challenges Carr. He's right there up on him. Clemens now, White on him. Jimmy Clemens with a jump shot. Cowens had sealed off Thurman on that side. Celtics can increase their lead to 3 points. 8 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the Boston Garden. And I think you can hear the crowd has picked up the tempo. Cowens on the jump shot. Jimmy Brewer, defensive rebound. Lead pass, Austin Carr is broken free. Scott is back on defense. Good block. Here comes Charlie Scott. And the Cavaliers can't believe it. They say Carr was mauled. Scott drives the lane. And he is called for an offensive foul, and now the Celtics can't believe it.
Unbelievable. I'll tell you. Now Fitch feels happy because It seems to have evened off, something they should have called down here.
Hey, Tommy, well, the seats on.
Tommy Heisen may wind up in the men's room if he's not careful.
He doesn't want that second tee.
Charlie Scott can't believe it either. He thought perhaps he had committed a foul on defense, and now he comes back and commits the foul on offense, and Heisen is still up in the stands.
Come back, Tommy. 5 fouls against Charlie Scott. Dave Cowens and Nate Thurman. Charlie Scott with a clean defensive steal. He's turned it on, just as he did a week ago in the fourth quarter against Buffalo. He has come to play. They're going to have to lace it on against him, off the iron. Cowens at control. Second chance Celtics. Thurman with a block as he went up in the air. He's fouled out. Nate Thurman has just fouled out of the game, coming up to block that rolling hook. Thurman arguing against Darryl Garrettson, saying it was a clean block.
Let's watch this, and you decide for yourself. Dave Cowens will drive to the hoop. Thurman will go up. All ball. All ball. Never touched the arm, never touched the wrist. Hit the ball, caused it to go out of bounds. In fact, it didn't even hit the glass. That ball went behind the backboard, and Nate Thurman has a gripe coming as well as Bill Fitch. That was an absolute clean block. Let's take a look at it again.
Never seen everything go against the team.
Unbelievable. There's the block. You see it. Perfect block, and the ball will continue on behind the backboard, never touching the arms of Cowens. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. And the way officials will miss a play like that, Brent, is if they're out of position. If they do not catch the right angle, when someone drives to the hoop, they will get blocked out and anticipate the call as opposed to taking a very, very good look at it. A very, very important call.
All right, Mindy, it's 75-73. Celtics lead the Cavaliers. 7 minutes and 25 seconds to play in this game. Brewer on the drive, loses it. Here comes Cowens. On the turnover, Celtics with a chance to move ahead by 4 points. Quick pass to Cowens.
And the best thing I think that Fitch could do here is possibly call a timeout, because his team has got to be visibly upset. Everything has gone against the Cavaliers, and if they come back out of this, they have really a team with character.
Loses it to Charlie Scott, and there was contact.
I really don't know what happened. I should, but I don't know. There had to be a substitution. There had to be a dead ball. And obviously what happened, Brent, is that Cleveland went out of bounds with the ball and put it back in play with the Celtics.
So here they come, Mindy. White, Scott, Cowens, Silas, and Havlicek against Clemens, Snyder, Cappy Russell, John Lambert, and Jimmy Brewer. Those are the 10. Havlicek.
Bill Fitch has got to call a timeout. He should have given it. There he did. He called the timeout. I'm surprised he didn't do it 2 plays ago. This team is visibly upset. They have lost their composure. Rightfully so, I might add, because everything has gone against them. Now, Fitch will get his group together. They have character. They'll be back in this game before it's over.
Can a Ford Granada match the smoothness of a $12,000 car? A series of test comparisons were made at various speeds and surface conditions between a Cadillac Seville, a Mercedes-Benz 280, and a Ford Granada. Here, over irregularly spaced boards, a vibration recorder took readings. In all tests, the Ford Granada consistently ranked first or second. Granada's base sticker price, under $4,000, excluding taxes, title, and destination charges. See your local Ford dealer.
Safeguard's deodorant lather is so effective, it doesn't need heavy perfume. Safeguard gives you naturally clean-smelling skin.
Good morning.
Hi. You always smell so fresh.
What about me? I use a deodorant soap.
That's just it, Norman. You smell like a deodorant soap.
Morning.
Clean. Cute.
With Safeguard, you don't get the heavy smell of some deodorant soaps. You get naturally clean-smelling skin.
Ross Billings of Dutch Master Cigars is in charge of curing the world's most expensive to grow instruments in the dark curing sheds can tell him a lot. But only his master's nose can tell the moment great tobacco says it is ready to be a Dutch master cigar.
That's beautiful.
Now you know why Dutch masters like our president taste so good. They really are masters, Dutch masters.
We see the score at 79-73, Brent. The Cleveland Cavaliers have scored just 2 points this quarter by car. In fact, they have scored 0 points for the last 4 minutes. Now they've got to get some offense going.
We'll see what they've got going this time. It's Clemens. He's the play, and Charlie Scott watching him carefully. Scott with 5 fouls, Cowens with 5 fouls. Havlicek over on Lambert. Lambert with the jump shot. Cowens rebound. White at the far side. Head by 6. The Celtics come down on the attack. Taken away by Snyder. Dick Snyder has it knocked back away from him by JoJo White. So they exchange turnovers. Lob pass Cowens inside of Lambert.
How important is Nate Thurman, who is sitting on the bench right now with 6 fouls.
But the only thing he might try is either Luke Whitty quickly or move Jim Brewer into that pivot if Lambert is not going to be able to handle Cowens. They've only got 5:30 to go. Clemens gets inside and throws it up. Very important basket.
$4,000, excluding taxes, title, and destination charges. See your local Ford dealer.
Safeguard's deodorant lather is so effective, it doesn't need heavy perfume. Safeguard gives you naturally clean-smelling skin.
Good morning.
Hi. You always smell so fresh.
What about me? I use a deodorant soap.
That's just it, Norman. You smell like a deodorant soap.
Morning.
Clean. Cute.
With Safeguard, you don't get the heavy smell of some deodorant soaps. You get naturally clean-smelling skin.
Ross Billings of Dutch Master Cigars is in charge of curing the world's most expensive-to-grow wrapper tobacco. Instruments in the dark curing sheds can tell him a lot. But only his master's nose can tell the moment great tobacco says it is ready to be a Dutch Master cigar.
That's beautiful.
Now you know why Dutch masters like our president taste so good. They really are masters, Dutch masters.
We see the score at 79-73, Brent. The Cleveland Cavaliers have scored just 2 points this quarter by car. In fact, they have scored 0 points for the last 4 minutes. Now they've got to get some offense going.
We'll see what they've got going this time. It's Clemens. He's the play, and Charlie Scott watching him carefully. Scott with 5 fouls, Cowens with 5 fouls. Havlicek over on Lambert. Lambert with the jump shot. Cowens rebound. White at the far side. Head by 6. The Celtics come down on the attack. Taken away by Snyder. Dick Snyder has it knocked back away from him by JoJo White. So they exchange turnovers. Lob pass Cowens inside of Lambert.
How important is Nate Thurman, who is sitting on the bench right now with 6 fouls.
But the only thing he might try is either Luke Whitty quickly or move Jim Brewer into that pivot if Lambert is not going to be able to handle Cowens. They've only got 5:30 to go. Clemens gets inside and throws it up. Very important basket right there. 81-75. Cavaliers back squarely against that wall. Trail in the series. 1 game, none. Go back to Cleveland Tuesday night for game 3. Cowens maneuver. Havlicek came in to rebound that time, and there was contact. Snyder picks up the loose ball. Foul.
You watch Snyder on the left of your screen now. Watch him bend over as the ball goes up. You'll see him box out Havlicek. There's the push. There's the bend. You see that body bend? A little backside action.
No team fouls so far against Boston in the 4th quarter. Cowens goes goes up on Lambert. Russell is there. 81-75, down to the last 5 minutes. Clemens comes in, waits now, and Russell is there. Shot clock goes down inside of 10 as Campy Russell threw up a bad shot. In the middle, White. Havlicek running on the wing, passes back, and good defense by Brewer. Got a hand on the ball. Clemens on the far side. Has it taken away, stolen cleanly by Havlicek. Here's Scott, 4-on-1. And not a good pass. Cowens was cutting right to the basket. He goes cross-court back to Charlie Scott. Intercepted by Snyder, another bad pass. The Celtics are giving the Cavaliers one opportunity after another right now to climb right back in it. Oh! Clemens with a miss. The battle won by Silas. Lead pass White. Snyder cuts him off. Behind is back to Havlicek. Hondo with a turnaround.
3-second call should be. Yeah, I got one right. You watch behind the back pass. Havlicek trying to find the handle. Now watch Silas. He's in that lane. He's in that lane. There's the count beginning, and that's why the violation.
We have had 47 turnovers in this game because of the tough defense turned in by both of these teams. They've been all over each other. Clemens starts his move to the line, comes up with the shot. Drew the foul, and that's Charlie Scott's 6th personal. He has fouled out of this game.
Out of the 8th playoff game, Charlie Scott has fouled out 5 times. Boston has been involved in 8 games. Charlie Scott has not finished 5 of them. Now, obviously, what Tommy Heinsohn will do is move John Havlicek to the backcourt, which again shows everyone out there the importance of a swing player like a John Havlicek. That will put Nelson in up front.
Fitch obviously waiting for just the right moment to reinsert Foots Walker in the lineup when he thinks the time has come to penetrate. Or perhaps he'll send Foots out there to challenge Cowens. They've only got 3:55. Cowens still playing with those 5 fouls. That time he jumped right into the lane, pushed Lambert back. He just doesn't stop. He plays with 5 like he didn't have a single foul on him. Campy Russell picks up Nelson. Lambert trying to stop Cowens. Here's David against the rookie, battling, coming up over the top.
I'll tell you something else. It could have been a very, very easy offensive foul on that play. You watch this now. You watch Lambert hold his position, number 24. He'll stand perfectly still, and Cowens will come up and over, and I'll tell you, another marginal call.
Cowens checks the clock. He sees that there are 3 minutes and 40 seconds left, and that it is 81-77. 4-point Celtic lead. Walker has come back in.
Little confusion
as to who's going out.
And we're going to have a 3-guard offense. Footsy Walker, Jimmy Clemens, and Dick Snyder with Brewer going out. I am certain that on the next dead ball, when Cleveland gets back on defense, possibly Fitch will substitute again.
Walker with control. Lambert and Russell also in there with the 3 guards. Snyder from outside drills it.
Now it works on offense. Let's see what happens if it hurts them on defense. There's a mismatch with Silas and Snyder, or else Cleveland will get into some kind of a zone defense here now.
83-79. Celtics ahead. 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Silas waits for Havlicek. John comes up fine. Battle, big rebound. Finally, Campy Russell's got control for the Cavaliers. They can pull to within 2 points if they can convert here at the 3-minute mark. Campy on the drives, got it, a pretty basket. 1-on-1 basketball, and Russell put it in.
So the 3-guard offense has worked twice down the court. Let's see. Whoa!
White runs right into Walker, no doubt about it. Offensive foul.
Jimmy Brewer was ready to come on in. I would be surprised if Fitch goes with it. Let's watch this offensive foul. Footsy Walker retreating all the way. That's good defensive position.
Another key thing about the 3-guard offense, Charlie Scott fouled out with 16 points. The The Celtics are not particularly deep at guard. They've got to use Havlicek back there. They've got JoJo White. They can go get a Kevin Stakem. But the Cavaliers can get a lot of movement against this back line. Snyder off the front miss. Here come the Celtics. They lead at 83-81. 2:39. Key defensive period coming up right here for the Cavaliers. Neither team in the penalty situation. Look at fouls. Here's Collins giving it back to JoJo White from the right baseline. It's a 4-point Celtic lead. 2 minutes and 22 seconds to go. Critical offensive situation here for the Cavaliers. Cannot afford to lose contact. Brewer on the turnaround, and Don Nelson had position on Campy Russell. Campy came back on Nelson and fouled him.
Very tough shot selection that time by Jim Brewer, especially with Dick Snyder in there and Clemens, who can shoot the eyes out of the basketball and possibly even penetrate. Brewer went one-on-one. There was nobody in position to rebound. On the turn-up court, backcourt foul by Campy Russell. A big play at this point, which went totally against Cleveland.
2 minutes and 7 seconds remain in this game, and don't forget, right afterwards we'll go down to Phoenix. Game 4 of the Western Conference Final between the Suns and the defending NBA champion Golden State Warriors. We have a couple of Cinderellas still alive. Phoenix in the West, Cleveland in the East. And never has a team had to face so much adversity and one playoff game as the Cavaliers have faced here today. 87-81. So the Cavaliers face that 6-point Celtic lead, and 2 minutes remain. Snyder on the weave, gives it back to Brewer, who drives on Cowens.
That was the foul they were looking for. That was the foul that will get Cowens out of the ballgame. That's number 6. Brewer was to go one-on-one against Cowens. It worked. Cowens will leave the ballgame, and this should be very interesting to see what happens from this point on. There's a minute and 57 to go, a lot of playing time, and Cleveland can do it again. You watch Snyder as he goes into the lane. He'll find Brewer isolated. They'll go one-on-one, and there's Cowens, as you said earlier, and as I've said before, he knows no other way to play defense. He plays all out.
And then he fouled out with 15 points and 11 rebounds. Cavaliers work the weave. Snyder at the perimeter, and it was Don Nelson who yanked down the defensive board. Now 1:44 to go. 6-point Celtic lead. Cavaliers cannot afford a mistake. They need a turnover right now. They need good defense. Clemens watching JoJo White. Havlicek pops out to the top of the circle. Kapersky from the corner. That's it. 89-81. 1:26 to go, and Fitch wants a timeout, and now the Cavaliers are in trouble.
Probably the one player on the court the Celtics did not want to take the shot was Steve Kapersky. And yet he did it. He took the shot, not a very good shot, and he converted it. That's the incredible story of the Boston Celtics. Someone always comes up with the big play or the big field goal at the right time.
Let's go down to Phoenix and Don Crickey and Jerry West for a quick report.
Brett, here at the Veterans Memorial Coliseum, they're ready to tee it up and get going with Game 4 of the Western Finals. The Golden State Warriors, defending champions of the league, are up in this series 2-1. Phoenix had not lost on its home court in 15 straight games until Friday night. And now the Suns are really backed up because they've got to win here to stay in this series. They should go down to Golden State today. Go back to Oakland and play there in Game 5. They'd be in real trouble. Let's go back now to Brett Musburger for the wrap-up of the Celtics game.
Back here in the Boston Garden, and of course, don't forget, right back down to Phoenix at the end of this game. You will enjoy that contest very much. I was very surprised at how strong the Phoenix Suns have become. I had not seen them for a long time until I went in there on Friday night. When John McLeod goes to his bench, bring out a Dennis Autry, Keith Erickson, Ben Arsdale, all of them with playoff experience, and they have played the Golden State Warriors very well. And of course, all of you know the Golden State Warriors story, last year's NBA champions when they eliminated the Washington Bullets in 4 straight, and if anything, they are better this year. Particularly guard Phil Smith, who many believe is going to become the next Oscar Robertson, Jerry West of the NBA. He possesses that kind of talent. Phoenix State next, right here. It's 89-81, 125. Cleveland, Boston. Boston leads the series 1-0. Cavaliers must hurry, get some points, and force some turnovers. They cannot afford to take much time here. Clemens shot. Now they have pulled it within 6. Clemens is looking for the three-point play. Pressure defense. Silas comes back down to help out. Clock moves inside of 1:10. Nelson waits for White to come over behind him. Celtics will be very patient. 89-83. Down toward the 1-minute mark. Heinsohn yelling instructions. Shot clock inside of 10. Clemens was dueling White. Clemens claiming it went off of JoJo White. Manny Sokol disagreeing. Celtics retain possession. Now we've got 57 seconds. 6-point Celtic lead. Cavaliers need a big defensive play. Nelson pops out. Brewer has him. Nelson puts it on the floor. They had only 10 seconds. Now it's down to 5. And Snyder came out and fouled Hondo Havlicek. Havlicek, please.
He loves that call.
And of course, the rest of some of the Boston Celtic wives watching here, they probably spent the playoff money already.
The story of the first 2 games of this series, Brent, has been the fourth quarter. In the first game that they played, these 2 teams, the score was tied 77-77 at the end of 3, and Boston went on to win. In the second game, which we're seeing right now, at the end of 3 quarters, Cleveland was ahead, 71-68, and they are going to lose. They're going to lose this ball game. All happened in the fourth quarter in both games.
Hey, you know, we have to be very impartial, maybe. I really have found myself pulling hard for these guys. They face so much adversity in this game.
I'll tell you, they have had some very key calls go against them at very crucial points in the game.
Tversky, and when I get a chance, I want to thank our producer, Chuck Milton, our director, Sandy Grossman, for their usual outstanding job here in Boston. We'll be with them Friday night. Probably in Cleveland. Tversky. Paul Silas comes up, and he's right there, and Jim Brewer just came back down and fouled him. And if you folks want to hear some noise, get on out to that arena Tuesday night to watch Cleveland-Boston. I don't know if they have any tickets left for their games down there. Every time I look around, they got a sellout.
They will have a sellout, no question.
I'm looking forward to going in there. I have never seen that arena, as I have been reminded by many Cleveland fans all year long, I might add.
It is a beautiful building, and there are great fans out in Cleveland, Brent. Looking forward to seeing you out there.
As is Sonny Hill taking care of all our business in that time. 91-85 in 19 seconds, and the Cavaliers are going to come back home trailing in this series 2-0. But I've got a suspicion that team will come out smoking on Tuesday.
In both of these games, and I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling our viewing audience, that the Celtics could have been had in both of these games. Cleveland just let it slip away in the last 12 minutes of each ball game.
Here's Clemens on the drive, off to Bingo Smith at the turnaround. Down inside at 10 seconds. Golden State and Phoenix coming up after this. Nelson ran into Bingo. Tversky is loose. Clemens comes back down. And they fouled him, and it was called goaltending rather than a foul, so the basket will count. So it is 94, is that right, up there, Mindy, if they get the scoreboard right?
94-87.
I remember once I closed off a game with the wrong score, and I got some angry calls from some people. Clemens hits it at the buzzer. Counts. So the final score up on the board right now is 94-89. The Boston Celtics beat the Cleveland Cavaliers by 5 points. Celtics take a 2-game lead in the Eastern Conference Final. And so, stay tuned for more NBA action. And for Sonny Hill and Mindy Rudolph, this is Brent Musburger saying so long from our game here at the Boston Garden.
The NBA on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports. Be sure to see the award-winning motion picture based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Yearling, starring Gregory Peck, tonight at 7, 6 Central Time, here on CBS.
I invested in gold. It took a heck of a beating. That's a shame. I played it safe with a mutual fund. I'd have been better off if I'd put my money in the Bowery, Joe.
Well, the Bowery may be the best place for your money. You're in high interest. Your money is insured. And the Bowery's never missed an interest or dividend payment in 142 years.
Hey, you make it sound like the best investment in New York, Joe.
I'd like to know a better one.
It pays to save at the Bowery.
At Simms, you'll never see the word sale. Simms represents at off price the world's finest brand names in ladies' and men's clothing. At all times, you can buy men's current, nationally advertised $160 vested suits with the label for $88. $20 designer shirts for $9.